followed, snapped just this past Wednesday with a convincing win over Dayton. This is not the same Fordham team that met the Bonnies less than a month ago. Jaffe Medor, Josh Rivera, Ramad Dean, and others are playing with a renewed confidence in this recent stretch. It's Fordham against St. Bonaventure from the Reilly Center next on WFUV Sports.
From a sold-out Reilly Center here in Olean, New York, this is Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports. This afternoon's matchup is between the Fordham Rams and the St. Bonaventure Bonnies in Atlantic 10 play. I'm Nick Guzman alongside Lou Orlando. Lou, for these Fordham Rams, a disastrous start to Atlantic 10 play, starting 0-6, but all of a sudden, back-to-back wins over Duquesne at the Rose Hill Gym, and then LaSalle on the road in Philly on Wednesday. Probably their best performance of the season, and it feels a whole lot different than it did last week.
Nick, they found some confidence, and I will say definitively their best game of the season. 6 of the 8 players in rotation end up in double figures scoring. They passed the ball. They were fluid. You could start to see the coach's game plan. It's coming together, and you're starting to see a Fordham team we thought we'd see earlier in the year. That said, this is about as big of a test as you can get.
In a hostile environment, it is a whiteout here at the Reilly Center. Fordham are going to have their hands full to deal with this atmosphere. We're just moments away from tip, but before that, we got a chance to sit down with Fordham interim head coach Tray Woodall before today's game. Take a listen.
Nick Guzman here alongside Lou Orlando with Fordham interim head coach Tray Woodall, coming off their 88-72 win over LaSalle on the road. That's 2 wins in a row now in A10 play. Coach, what were you most impressed about in that win over LaSalle?
I think I was impressed with having contribution from all 8 guys. You know, we got our internal scoreboard, attitude chart. To have 8 guys check into the game and have 8 guys contribute to our attitude chart and make attitude, I think I was probably the most impressed there. But I was also happy with Jameer Tripp being able to, play well and play hard and focus on defense. Josh Rivera obviously having a double-double and focusing on crashing offensive glass because he's a monster there. I was impressed that even though through foul trouble, threw him in there at different spots, he was able to still, at the end of the day, close out the game and finish that game with a great attitude. And obviously, you got to give credit to our big guys also, Abdul and Matt, who also battled foul trouble in the beginning, but they still played their hearts out and played hard, didn't worry about foul trouble, just played to the best of their ability and left it all out there, which was great to see.
Your staff all season has been talking about playing 40 minutes of Fordham basketball. You've had a chance to watch the tape from that LaSalle game. Where does that rank? I know you were proud of the Duquesne effort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that was close to 40 minutes that we've gotten all season, to be honest. To have 8 guys contribute and 8 guys to make the Attitude Club was great to see. And to also follow it up with winning the glass again. And that's some of the things that we talked about, defending and rebounding and taking care of the ball. We still got to do a better job of taking care of the ball. We have 12 turnovers. We want to get them under 10. But we did do a great job of holding them to 39%, so that's the big key on defensively, and then out-rebounding them. So we pretty much 2 out of the 3 we took care of. But, I think we're getting close to 40 minutes.
Coach, Ramad Dean had 15 and 8 against LaSalle. That's back-to-back really good offensive performances from him, but on both ends of the floor as well. So what have you seen about Ramad recently?
Well, for us, we just want him to be aggressive when he has opportunity to shoot the ball because he does a great job of spacing the floor. We know he's the heart and soul of our team. He embodies everything for them. But when he's out there scoring, to be honest, I had no clue they had 15 points, right? Because he's just out there playing as hard as he can, and that's what he brings to the table. But I guess when I looked at the box score, it was, I was excited for him. But I think for him, he doesn't really care about the scoring part of it. He just wants to play as hard as he can for as long as he can, and he can give it up for his teaammates. And then the end result is, him scoring and us winning the game.
You learn anything about Bonaventure from the first time they came here back in January?
Yeah, I learned that we're not the same team. We're not the same team we were January 4th, I think it was. And, our guys now have taken a lot more steps towards being the best team we could be by the end of the year. I know Bonaventure's also gotten better, but our job is just to go out there and play 40 minutes of Fordham basketball.
Thanks, Coach.
Welcome back inside the Reilly Center. Nick Guzman here alongside Lou Orlando. We're just moments away from tip-off between Fordham and St. Bonaventure. We've got some starting lineups for you for both teams, starting with the Rams. It's a lineup starting to become familiar to Fordham fans. Jaffe Medor, Zach Reilly, Jackie Johnson, Ramad Dean, and Abdu Timbila Lou. That might be the starting five, but Fordham got major contributions from all 8 guys that played against LaSalle.
And that's the key. This is a Fordham team that ranked second in the A-10, top 85 in the nation in points from the bench. And a key decision that Coach Ergo made, and now that Coach Woodall has continued, is keeping Zach Reilly in the starting lineup. And while he might not be the most explosive scorer out there, he brings consistent defense, and that allows you to bring Josh Rivera and Jameer Tripp off the bench. Last time out, Josh Rivera, an 11-point double-double. Jameer Tripp gets back in double digits with a 12-point game. That's the scoring they need from their bench. That's the scoring they got in an 88-point effort against LaSalle.
And in contrast, Lou, this is the Bonnies team that doesn't really rotate whatsoever. This starting five of Chance Moore, Jonah Hinton, LeJay Jones, Melvin Council Jr., and Noel Brown that's been the starting five throughout all of the A-10 conference play. They've had some injuries to deal with, but still sitting at 4-5 in the A-10, 16-6 overall.
It's been an up and down A-10 conference for St. Bonaventure, so dominant in non-con, 12-1 in the non-conference portion. They start their season 14-1 with back-to-back A-10 wins, including one, a 20-point win over Fordham. They ran into some tough times. I think they hit the injury bug. They're feeling the injury of DeSante Bowen a lot more than they were in the non-conference portion of the schedule. DeSante Bowen, a really talented point guard, a transfer from Iowa. They're really missing him out there. But either way, this is a talented starting five, and it's a Coach Schmidt special. Mark Schmidt, who's been at Bonaventure for, it feels like forever. He's going to run tight rotations, and they're going to play great defense. Even as they've been up in town, that's what they're doing, and they're coming off a really strong win against Dayton. And you can't rule out the impact of this home crowd. It's a home crowd that Tray Woodall is preparing for. Tray Woodall knows a thing or two. He coached here at Bonaventure for 2 years. They won a title when he was there. It's whiteout. You already feel the students' energy getting loud. This is going to be like a Rose Thrill game, except Fordham's going to be on the other side of it.
It's going to be a lot for these Rams to contend with. St. Bonaventure, I think when we saw them in the Rose Hill Gym on January 4th, that win over Fordham 86-66 was completely dominant. I think a lot of people thought that Bonaventure might run away with the Atlantic 10. But we've seen this conference is a slog. The amount of teams in the middle that are just sitting at 4-4. Fordham were in the basement, 2 wins, all of a sudden you're 2-6, and you can see that middle of the pack.
Well, I mean, Nick, after Dayton's win against St. Louis last night, there's still only 4 teams in the A-10 with an in-conference record above 500. So that leaves 11 teams that are either 500 or lower. So just because Fordham started 0-6 in A-10 doesn't mean you can't make a dent. You've heard Ergo preach about Duquesne starting 0-5 and winning the title. Right now, the goal for the Rams is not winning a title. It's just getting back into the pack, getting back into contention, and being able to compete with every team in the A-10 up and down the standings. And this is a gigantic, gigantic test. You have to watch out for Melvin Council, tied a season-high 24 points when he was at the Rose Hill Gym. He's torched the Rams every single time he's played them, going back to his days at Wagner. So if you're going to stop St. Bonaventure, it starts with stopping Melvin Council Jr., and it's a Fordham defense that has still had some issues even on this 2-game winning streak.
Bonaventure in white, the Rams contrasting that in all black. We are underway. The tip goes to St. Bonaventure. The Bonnies will take the first possession in this whiteout game. We are underway here in Olean. Melvin Council Jr. running the offense. Straight away for LeJay Jones. Around the screen, Chance Moore has it up high. Melvin Council Jr. near side wing. Zach Reilly defending him. Noel Brown sets the screen up high. In the corner again for Council. Up high for Moore. Out to the far side, LeJay Jones launches the triple. That's off the mark. Zach Reilly cleans up with the rebound. Pushing back the other way for the Rams. On the far side wing, Jackie Johnson. Swung out to his near side, Jaffe Medor. Screen up high from Timbila. Medor to Dean near side wing. To the corner for Reilly. Feeds the post for Timbila, left block. Up high Reilly. Swung up top for Dean. His three, too strong. Rebound LeJay Jones. Council pushes it up ahead to Moore on the near side wing. Straight away again, Melvin Council. Noel Brown sets the screen. He has it up high. Lost the handle. Gonna have to dive. Ball out of bounds on this near side. Last touch off Ramad Dean, who dove to try to save it from this sideline.
First person to get to Ramad Dean. Interim coach Tray Woodall gets him back on his feet. That is Brown was wide open, dropped the ball, and you see the hustle immediately from Ramad Dean, and I think Bonaventure lucky to get that ball back.
Minute gone by, no score here in Olean. Melvin Council Jr. on the far side wing. Up high for Noel Brown, top of the key. Looking for an option. Timbila far off him, handoff, Council, the deep three, he knocks it down. On the move, Melvin Council Jr. A perfect shot. It's 3-0 St. Bonaventure, a minute and a half in.
Catch and shoot from deep. We talk a lot about Melvin Council's athleticism. The kid can shoot. That's an unreal shot to get Bonnies on the board.
Fordham on offense the other way. Medor on this near side wing. A screen from Abdu Timbila. Straight away Reilly to the corner. Dean fakes the three. He'll drive baseline. Dean to the corner. Medor on this near side. He'll step back. 5 seconds to shoot. Reilly drives in the lane. Reilly contested shot off the rim and out. Missed it right. Brown the rebound. Bonaventure the other way in transition. Council. That's going to be a three. Too strong from Chance Moore on the far side. Ramad Dean the rebound.
Threes were a big key for both teams' wins last time out. I think early on, both sides getting good looks. Fordham passed up on 2 open threes their last time.
Dean in the corner. Couldn't get it to go. It was short. Rebound tipped by Reilly. Last touch off St. Bonaventure. Fordham will keep it in the front court.
But I like Dean pulling that shot. And one of the things Tray Woodall talked about, the key in that win over LaSalle, was getting the ball into the hands of their catch-and-shoot guys early in the shot clock.
Reilly into Abdu in his near side corner. Back for Zach Reilly on the wing. Back to the corner for Medor. 14 on the shot clock. Medor drives baseline. A lot of contact. Able to get it back. Straight away Johnson. 7 seconds to shoot. Johnson in the lane. Needs an option. Looking for Dean. Stolen away. Deflected by Hinton. Melvin Council the other way. Council trying to go coast to coast. Lost the handle. Didn't matter. He flips it up and in anyway. 5-0 St. Bonaventure, 17-15 to go first half.
Defense has been a staple of Mark Schmidt teams, and there it's turning defense into offense to steal the bucket on the other end.
Jackie Johnson on the far side wing, straight away for Zach Reilly, flipped over for Johnson. That's an air ball from mid-range, Moore the rebound. The other way for the Bonnies, Council into the corner. Hinton back for Council, straight away here for Noel Brown. Jonah Hinton has it up top. Back for Brown, spinning on Abdu, looking to attack. Brown pivots in the lane, a lot of contact. No call off the front of the rim. There is going to be a whistle. Abdu is down in the lane. And it's going to be a foul called on Abdu Timbila, a block.
Early on there, he grabbed, as soon as he went to the ground, he grabbed his left hamstring. He's still on the ground. He got beat bad by Brown there, was able to get back into position, but he's in a weak spot, and I didn't see too much on Brown's side. I thought that was fair contact, just Brown playing physical and then going for that fadeaway shot. Help Abdu up to his feet. He seems to be okay, a little hobble, will take a seat. Might have just had the wind knocked out of him, just had his hands over his abdomen.
There are two big guys colliding there in the lane in Abdu Timbila and Noel Brown. Brown at 6'11", now at the free throw line for St. Bonaventure. First one is perfect. Brown, second year at St. Bonaventure, previously spent 2 years in the A-10 with GW. Averaging 12 points a game as the big man in this lineup. Second free throw, perfect as well. It's 7-0 St. Bonaventure, 16:42 to go first half.
And dangerous to go down scoreless like this early, especially in an environment like this. You know it's going to be in their heads. You need the first bucket sooner rather than later.
Matt Zona has checked into the game. His screen up high opens up some space for Medor, and he cans the triple. Big shot from Jaffe Medor, 7-3 Bonnies, 16:30 to go first half.
That's a bold take, but it's going to give this Rams offense some confidence. We saw some bold takes from them in LaSalle. Worked pretty well.
Melvin Council up high, pushed out to the far side for Moore, top of the key. Noel Brown, handoff for Jonah Hinton. To the corner, Council, his three, no good. Reilly with the contest, Ramad Dean the rebound. Medor pushing back the other way for the Rams. Medor for Zona, fakes the three. He'll drive on Brown. Zona kicks out to Reilly. Johnson straight away. Inside for Dean, low block. His pass deflected and stolen by LeJay Jones. Here comes Council for the Bonnies. Out to the far side for Jones. Hinton on the wing. Circles back towards the middle. Hinton crossover, step back over Zona. He buries it. shot-making ability from Jonah Hinton. 10-3 St. Bonaventure. 15:30 to go first half. Medor across the Bonnies logo. Another high screen from Zona. Medor on the near side wing. Straight away Zona. He'll try the three. In and out. Reilly couldn't grab the board. It comes to Melvin Council Jr. back the other way. That Zona's shot, just couldn't get it to go. Hinton, dribble drive on Dean. Up high again for Council. They'll feed down low for Brown. Took a bump from Zona. And that's going to be a foul, I believe, on Matt Zona on the floor. And that will take us to our first media timeout with 15:04 to go in the first half. It's St. Bonaventure 10, Fordham 3. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Live from the Big Easy, WFUV Sports has you covered for all things Super Bowl 59.
I'm Will Talent.
And I'm Evan Harkin.
We're two of your Super Bowl 59 beat reporters,
keeping you up to date on all of the events during Radio Row from New Orleans.
Will Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs make history with their third straight Super Bowl victory?
Or will Saquon Barkley and the Eagles soar to their second Super Bowl win in franchise history?
Catch all of the action live from Radio Row on our YouTube page at WFUV Sports.
And follow along for live updates at the big game on Sunday, February 9th.
WFUV Sports, your home for Super Bowl 59 coverage.
Slow start for the Rams here in Olean, New York. They trail St. Bonaventure 10-3 with 15:04 to go in the first half. I'm Nick Guzman here alongside Lou Orlando. Lou, early on, both teams hunting three. St. Bonaventure 2 of 5, Fordham 1 of 4. The Rams shot the ball incredibly well from deep against LaSalle, over 40%, a big reason why they won. Not so hot early.
And it makes sense why both teams would hunt threes in this situation, coming off of games where both sides made 12 threes. Bonaventure made 12 threes against Dayton. Fordham made 12 threes against LaSalle. Both of those are season highs. LaSalle, or Bonaventure rather, taking some tough threes here. That Jonah Hinton one from the deep left wing, had a hand in his face. Council's one in motion, straight down the key. That's a tough three. Fordham, I think they're passing up the open threes that they're getting. They're getting good ball movement. They're getting early looks in the shot clock, and they're passing them up and then having to take tougher threes later in the shot clock. I'd rather them take those threes early in the possession. Bonaventure's doubling the guards, Medor and Jackie Johnson. That's giving open threes for Reilly, for Matt Zona, for Ramad Dean. There are open looks here around the arc. You want for him to shoot earlier rather than later, but no secret, I think, that they want a three-pointer to be a key to their success. However, if it's not going to be there for them, you have to find a way to pivot away from it and find your offense elsewhere.
And this is a Bonaventure team that, despite their struggles in conference play, still lethal on the defensive end, holding their opponents to the third least points per game in the conference. It's Bonaventure basketball underneath. Melvin Council Jr. will inbound over Zona, looking for Brown. He's got it in the lane. Medor trying to rip it away from him. And that's going to be a foul called on Jaffe Medor. He went for the tie-up there in the lane against Brown, but they'll get Jaffe with the whistle.
It's going to be 3 early fouls for Fordham. You don't want to put Bonaventure in the bonus. They are an excellent free throw shooting team.
Council inbounds to Brown, over Tripp, that's short. Medor the rebound, ahead to Jameer Tripp. Tripp drives, gets down low. Zona's wide open to bank it in. Great find from Tripp, easy finish from Zona. 10-5 Bonnies, under 15 to go first half.
They double team Tripp, smart play by Zona. Go right to the paint, he's wide open, easy too.
Council out to the far side wing, they feed the post for Brown. Backing down on Matt Zona in the lane. Brown, physical, spins around him and finishes with the left hand. Pushed off a little bit with the elbow, but just a physical move there from the 6'11 Noel Brown. Medor tripped up as he was dribbling the ball ahead. Bonaventure numbers the other way after the steal. To the wing, that's a three, no good from Jonah Hinton. Kept alive by Chance Moore in the far corner. Up high, this is Noel Brown. The near side wing for Hinton, straight away Council. Feeds down low, Brown backing down on Tripp. And that's going to be a travel on Noel Brown.
It's almost a nightmare possession for the Rams. St. Bonaventure, the full court press, it's very effective. You see it in the season-long numbers, and Medor, I think, tied up a little bit with LeJay Jones, loses his footing.
Council got his hand in there as they inbound to Medor. It's out of bounds. Fordham will keep it. Nonetheless, this full court pressure from St. Bonaventure causing the Rams a lot of problems.
Yeah, Fordham's going to have to find a way to get comfortable inbounding here. They had some issues back at home against UMass, against Duquesne with the full court press. You got to find a way to get comfortable because St. Bonaventure can sit in this all game long.
Trip into Medor. This time the Bonnies back off as Medor can cross the timeline on the far side against Melvin Council. At the logo, straight away, Josh Rivera, top of the key. Handoff for Jackie Johnson. He'll drive left. Johnson off the glass and in. Great shot from Jackie Johnson. That lefty floater, so money.
I mean, Nick, you're laughing because it's a ridiculous shot. Hand in his face. The hand's higher than his head when he's taking that shot. There's such great arc on that.
No good from Chance Moore the other way. Great contest from Josh Rivera. Rebound, Jaffe Medor. Medor, the crossover, has Zona up high. Move down low for Tripp, backing down. It's double team. Medor swung to Johnson, wide open in the near side corner. That's Josh Rivera who buries the three. Fordham within two. 13-18 to go first half. 12-10 Bonnies.
The ball movement's been terrific, and now they're finding the open threes. Jackie makes the extra pass. He was open. Josh was wide open.
Coming off a career high 7 assists against LaSalle for Jackie Johnson. Moving the ball as good as he has all season. Noel Brown up high. Handoff for Melvin Council Jr. Feed down low, LeJay Jones got Medor up in the air. Great pump from LeJay Jones and the finish.
Bonaventure gets the mismatch. That's the 6'7" LeJay Jones against the 6' Jaffe Medor. Gets Medor in the air early.
14-10 Bonnies, 12:45 to go first half. Josh Rivera, top of the key. Dribble handoff for Jackie Johnson. Johnson driving left again. The floater, no good. This time the rebound from Melvin Council Jr. back the other way. Council pushing the pace. That's Jones underneath around Zona. He banks in the reverse layup.
Jones has this subtle little pump fake. Back-to-back possessions. He's gotten Fordham in the air and gotten the wide open layup.
16-10 Bonnies. 12:15 to go first half. Medor past Council into the front court. On the far wing, that's Jackie Johnson. Straight away for Matt Zona. Swung out to this near side wing. Medor will try the three. Rattles in and out. That was halfway down before it popped out. Chance Moore, the rebound for the Bonnies. Jonah Hinton on the far wing. They feed the post for Noel Brown against Zona. Low block. Takes the bump, and he'll go to the free throw line. Zona just swiped down on his hands there as Brown went up with it.
Noel Brown's going to be an issue today for the Rams. He is so strong inside. He's so efficient. One of the A-10's best inside the paint. If Timbila and Zona can't battle with him and give him some contact there on the blocks, Bonaventure's going to keep extending this lead and just get easy buckets possession after possession.
That takes us to our under 12 media timeout with 11:52 to go in the first half. It's St. Bonaventure 16, Fordham 10. We'll send it back to our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one scoreboard with Brendan Shorey.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Starting in the A-10, St. Joe's blows into the Windy City to take on the Loyola Chicago Ramblers at 2. UMass pays Duquesne a visit later today at 2. George Washington flies to Philly to match up against LaSalle. That one starts at 2:30. A fierce VCU team hosts the Richmond Spiders later today at 4. And the A-10 leader George Mason heads down to the Carolinas to take on Davidson at 4. Moving over to top 25. In an SEC battle, the number 5 Florida Gators trailed the number 8 Tennessee Volunteers 21-19 with a minute left in the first half. Madison Square Garden is scared right now with number 15 St. John's behind unranked Providence 17-12 with 14 minutes into the first half. Is this football? We got a ranked matchup at hand between number 20 Mizzou and number 14 Mississippi State. Tip-offs at 1. It is that day of the year. The Cam Crazies will be out and about as North Carolina takes a short bus ride to take on number 2 Duke tonight at 6:30. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Brendan Shorey.
Back here at the Reilly Center, St. Bonaventure 16, Fordham 10 with 11:52 to go in the first half. Nick Guzman here alongside Lou Orlando. And Lou, we've seen early St. Bonaventure. They hunt steals, especially in the backcourt in that full court press. And Bonaventure, when they don't turn the ball over, usually they win the game, so Fordham are going to have to protect that basketball.
The turnover battle, that's the key to the game today, Nick. When St. Bonaventure wins the turnover battle, they're 15-1. They're one of the best teams at protecting the ball when they have it on offense. Fordham, the worst team in the A-10, 13.8 turnovers per game. So it's not a matchup that works in Fordham's favor. You're not just facing a Bonaventure team that protects the ball on offense. They're one of the best defenses in the nation, top 20 in scoring defense, and they do that full court press. Only one time this season has Fordham turned over the ball less than 10 times. A goal of theirs is to keep the turnovers under 10. They failed at that in 21 of 22 games. So that is a big test for Fordham here against a Bonaventure team that does so many of the little things well. And it's not a surprise. It's a Mark Schmidt team. He's known for having teams that play strong defense and do the fundamentals well. It's not a surprise at all.
But they play strong defense, and they also don't foul at all. 13 fouls per game on the season. That's 7th fewest in the country, as the first free throw is good from Noel Brown.
And that's part of Mark Schmidt since he's been at Bonaventure. It's tight rotations. It's maybe 2-3 guys off the bench, if that. Well, if you're going to do that, your starters can't foul, and his starters don't foul.
Brown goes 2 for 2 at the free throw line. Already 4 fouls against Fordham, none against St. Bonaventure. Noah Belonga in for the first time for the Bonnies. First bench player we've seen. So is Xander Wedlow. Johnson across the timeline for Medore at the Bonnies logo. Watched closely by Melvin Council Jr. Rivera trying to find Timbila up top. Sloppy from the Rams. Stolen by the Bonnies the other way. Wouldn't go. The putback is perfect, though, from Xander Wedlow. 20-10 Bonnies. 11:30 to go first half.
It's a botched handoff. Timbila wasn't ready for it.
What's up, everyone? I'm Lou Orlando.
I'm Nick Guzman.
And I'm Chaz McAdams.
We're your broadcasters for Fordham men's basketball.
Led by Jackie Johnson, Keith Urgo's Rams are looking to make waves in the 100th anniversary season at the Rose Hill Gym.
We've got you covered for the highs, the lows, the X's and O's as Fordham takes on the gauntlet of the A-10.
Don't miss a game. 90.7 FM WFUV is the home of Fordham men's basketball.
In by the Bonnies. Jackie Johnson behind the back. Lost it. Stolen back the other way. Council, the slam in transition. 24-13 St. Bonaventure. Timeout Tray Woodall. 10:39 to go in the first half. Fordham look a little overwhelmed here at the Reilly Center.
And just when you think, well, maybe they have an answer, that corner three from Jaffe Medore, well, Bonaventure, the quick response. They're so fast. They're so athletic. And as strong as they are defensively, they're so quick in transition as well. They're so aggressive offensively. They're a really fun team to watch. There's a reason they've been the darling of the A-10, I think, in a lot of ways. They've got Woj as the first GM in Bonaventure program history. There's a lot to like about this team, and there's a reason why the Reilly Center is packed at 12:30 on a Saturday. It's because this team's legit.
And the atmosphere to match. These Bonnies fans care so much about this team, and you can see it in the energy in the arena. I mean, you think Fordham, with that Jaffe Medore making the corner, might get some momentum. Bonnies lightning quick the other way. Timbila helps the Council Jr. Layup misses, and an easy putback for Brown, then a steal and another dunk for Council the other way. And all of a sudden, 11-point Bonnies lead. You feel like things can get out of hand fast here if Fordham don't focus and settle into this game. Johnson on the far wing. Handoff for Jaffe Medore. Up high for Josh Rivera. For Medore on the far side. Up high. Rivera's open. He'll step into a three. That's short. Off the front of the rim. Rebound loose, and it'll come here to Belonga. Ahead for Council. The lob and the slam from LeJay Jones. It's showtime here in Olean, New York. The Bonnies putting on a show. They're up 13 on Fordham halfway through this first half. Jaffe Medore across the timeline for the Rams at the Bonnies logo, needing an answer. Screen up high from Timbila. Medore down low for Abdu. He's double teamed. Medore, Rivera straight away. Drive left. Shot wouldn't go. He's fouled, though. And Josh Rivera will go to the free throw line. First free throws of the afternoon for these Rams.
And that's, you can't expect to get to the line a ton against St. Bonaventure. You got to make him when you get there. A sneaky thing about Josh Rivera, an A-10 plays 65% from the line. I know that doesn't sound like a lot. This guy that was shooting 40% earlier in the year. He's made a big stride here from the line. These are big free throws in a game that's starting to slip away from you early.
First one from Josh Rivera is an air ball. Josh Rivera has been so good recently. 16 points in the game winner against Duquesne, a double-double against LaSalle with 11 points and 10 boards. But now the chance of air ball coming down on him. Second free throw for Josh is perfect. Way to respond there for Josh Rivera. And
you love that the second one goes in. What's the thing he's going to be thinking of next time he goes to the line? The last one he made, nothing but net.
26-14 Bonnies, 9:40 to go first half. Council Jr. has it up high. He'll drive. Council up high. Down. Easy finish there for Xander Wedlow. Great flip in from Melvin Council. Wedlow the finish. Council doing it all out there.
It was the pick and roll. Tambila and Medor get switched, so all of a sudden Medor down low on the center, and that's going to be an easy bucket every time.
Johnson straight away for Rivera. To the far side wing, Tambila. Handoff for Johnson, driving baseline. Out again for Rivera, swung around the horn to this near side for Medor. His three is short. Rebound by Wedlow. Belonga ahead for Council. On the far side wing, Council will step into a triple, too strong, off the heel. Tambila comes down with the board. Medor pushing the pace for Fordham. Out to the far side wing for Rivera. Straight away Johnson, that's a deep three, and that's off the front of the rim. Wedlow the rebound. Council will slow things down for the Bonnies. 28-14 St. Bonaventure, 8:37 to go first half. At the logo, Council, handoff for Belonga. Now again on this near side wing, it's Council. Jones the screen. Hinton looking to drive, down low, Wedlow's open, and he slams it home again. 30-14 Bonnies.
The issue for Fordham defensively, it hasn't been missed rotations, it's the fact they're biting on every single pump fake, and all of a sudden Bonaventure just getting easy points inside, it feels like on every single possession, Nick.
Medor for Dean up high, he got bumped, and that's going to be a foul on St. Bonaventure. 8:04 to go in this first half. 30-14 in favor of the Bonnies. Yeah, it seems like Fordham just a little bit rattled here early. Not able to deal with the crowd, turning the ball over, committing a lot of fouls, and then just look a little disorganized on the defensive end.
And what's frustrating is, on every offensive possession, there are open looks. Fordham has found them more often than not. Missed a couple open threes, they've had a few turnovers.
The screen up high from Tambila, Medor straight away for Johnson. Johnson crossover, drives left, lays it up and in with the left hand. That's vintage Jackie Johnson. Fordham back within 14. It's 30-16 Bonnies.
And there's a second help defender there, and it doesn't matter. Jackie's quick enough to beat it.
Council has it straight away. He'll drive left on Medor, gets inside. Brown at the free throw line, backing down Tambila, spinning in the post. Couldn't get it to go, but he's fouled by Abdu. And Noel Brown will go to the free throw line after this media timeout with 7:33 to go in the first half. St. Bonaventure 30, Fordham 16. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hey, this is Chris Carino, Fordham and WFUV class of 1992. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One-on-One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV Sports.
Welcome back inside the Reilly Center here in Olean, New York. This is Nick Guzman alongside Lou Orlando. St. Bonaventure with 30-16 lead over Fordham with 7:33 to go in the first half. Lou, midweek that game against LaSalle for the Rams on Wednesday in Philly, an 88-72 win. Fordham got a ton of open looks in that game and shot over 50% from the field, 46% from deep. They've gotten a lot of open looks here today, and Olean, the shots just not falling at the same rate.
And listen, that game against the South, the entire team was on a heater. It's an outlier when 6 of your 8 rotation players reach double figures. But this is a Fordham team up and down the lineup that does have the ability to shoot threes, to make open threes. And they've had a couple bad misses in this game, and you just can't afford to have too many misses against this Bonaventure defense. I think it's a testament to Fordham's ability to move the ball and how well they've improved in that category, that they found the open men. They weren't doing that earlier in the season. You think about how stagnant the offense was. Beginning of A-10 play against St. Louis, against Bonaventure on that road trip, the offense has opened up. There's more movement around the arc. They're exploiting double teams, and they're finding the looks that they want. The other piece of that is now you have to make it, right?
Fordham shooting 37% from the field, 30% from deep. The other half of that, we know how much these Rams have struggled on defense this year, and they've had their hands full with this St. Bonaventure team that isn't exactly elite offensively, towards the bottom of the conference in points per game. But it's the defense that turns to offense that's so lethal.
I mean, and right now with Bonaventure, look who's their leading scorer. It's Xander Wedlow off the bench. This is a team that doesn't have a ton of bench scoring, but they have balanced offensive attack.
First free throw from Brown is short. That's a big thing to point out to Wedlow, to be 8 points on 4 of 4 shooting, because the production from this Bonnies bench is essentially non-existent. All these starters are playing close to 35 minutes a game, as Brown makes the second free throw to make it 31-16 St. Bonaventure.
It's less about the talent of the bench and more so that Mark Schmidt does not want to take his starters out, and why blame him? He has a really strong starting 5, even with Desante Bowen out.
Jackie Johnson into the front court. Jaffe Medor has it at the Bonnies logo. 7:20 to go first half. St. Bonaventure by 15. The high screen from Rivera. Jackie Johnson on this near side wing. Straight away for Medor. 8 seconds to shoot. Medor goes behind the back in the lane, looking for Dean down low. Dean will put it in. What a move from Jaffe Medor to go behind the back and find Ramad Dean open underneath.
Fordham clearly comfortable with the ball in the hands of either Jackie or Jaffe. Late in the shot clock, they can either make something happen for themselves or someone else.
Different look on defense here. It's the 3-2 zone for Fordham. Medor, Reilly, and Johnson, the pressure up high. Dean, Rivera down low. Council straight away. Down low for Brown. They got through the zone. Brown around Rivera, puts it up and in.
That's what you worry about in the 3-2 zone, is can Brown exploit it? The weakness is going to be down low. If you can stretch them thin, Brown can have a field day.
If you got a talented big, that's the way to attack that zone. Those entry passes down low. Reilly feeds Rivera, low block on the far side. Straight away for Jackie Johnson. Johnson drives left. The floater with the left hand doesn't get the roll off front rim. Rebound by Brown. Back the other way come the Bonnies. Council on the far wing. Rivera fell down. No call. Council to this near side wing. Bolonga, he'll try the triple, blocked away by Josh Rivera. Awesome job closing out there to get a hand on it. Fordham back the other way through Medor. Lost the handle. It's going to be a blocking foul called on Jonah Hinton. 5:54 to go in the first half. 33-18 St. Bonaventure.
And you're starting to see the game plan unfold for Fordham, where they're going to give it Jackie or Jaffe up top. They want them to enter probably to the free throw line, draw on the double, and then see either can you beat it yourself or can you find someone else open.
We're going to have to knock down those open shots if they want to get back in this game. Jaffe Medor has it. Straight away for Jameer Tripp, top of the key. Dribble handoff for Jackie Johnson. Out to the far side wing. Johnson flip down low for Tripp. What an entry pass, and he gets the roll on the layup.
Great positioning by Tripp. It's phenomenal vision by Jackie. Again, he's drawing defenders towards him. Even if it's a subtle lean away, that's enough to get someone open on the block for a split second.
33-20 Bonnies, 5:24 to go first half. Council Jr. has it up high for Chance Moore on the far side. Fordham still in the 3-2 zone. Look, Moore, the feed inside. Fade away from the far side, no good from Jonah Hinton. The zone working here for the Rams. Johnson the other way. Johnson will step into the three, blocked away by Melvin Council. It'll come to Reilly, Tripp from mid-range. Up high for Medor. Medor drives, a bump and a blocking foul called on Chance Moore. Fordham weren't getting any of those whistles early, but in this recent stretch, starting to go their way.
Dead even in fouls right now, 5 apiece for each team, and you're starting to hear this crowd groan, I think for good reason. Josh Rivera tried to sell a charging foul on the other end, and these guards for Fordham are initiating contact. They're playing aggressively to their credit, and they're getting the fouls called.
Tripp to Rivera on this near side wing. Jameer Tripp to the corner for Jaffe Medor. Still on this near side. 13 seconds to shoot. Medor drives baseline on Council. Stays right with him. Zach Reilly will step into a three. Too strong off the heel. Rebound by Hinton. Back the other way for the Bonnies. The drive from Jones. He lost the handle. Stripped away by the Rams, and it will be out of bounds on the baseline. Bonaventure will keep it.
Jones wide open on the wing with the ball on the left side, and that's a dangerous man to leave alone. He can shoot, he can drive, he can facilitate. Fordham lucky this is just a baseline inbound.
It'll be Council to inbound underneath. There's 4:36 to go in the first half. 33-20 St. Bonaventure. Council flips in for Brown with Tripp defending him. A lot of contact, and that's going to be a block on Jameer Tripp. This size mismatch there trying to defend Noel Brown. Fordham going without a big here. No Tim Beal and no Zona. So whoever matches up against Brown really is their hands full.
And it's been Tripp the last few possessions. That's a real tough assignment for him. I think it's a sign of confidence that the Rams trust him in this game there.
Council Jr. has it on the far side wing. The feed down low. Reilly got his hand in there to deflect the pass intended for Brown in the post. Out of bounds again on the baseline.
Rams definitely seem more confident, more aggressive when they go into this 3-2.
It's Zach Reilly on Brown on this inbounds. They get it into Jonah Hinton on the far wing. 9 seconds for the Bonnies to shoot. Hinton against Tripp. Screen up high from Brown. Stolen away by Jackie Johnson. Got his hand in the passing lane. Back the other way. Johnson the lefty lay. Couldn't get the roll. Rivera follows up with the offensive board and the putback.
It's a ridiculous rebound by Rivera. He outjumps 2 guys, including one of his own players, to grab that rebound. Puts it up strong.
33-22 Bonnies, under 4 to go first half. Still the 3-2 zone from Fordham. Chance Moore out to the far side for Jonah Hinton. Screen up high from Brown. Council on the far wing. Inside for Brown. Up high again for Hinton. Brown at the free throw line. Backing down Tripp. And that's going to be a foul called on Jameer Tripp. 3:45 to go in the first half. We've reached the under 4 media timeout. The score, St. Bonaventure 33, Fordham 22. We'll have free throws 1-1 when we come back. We'll send it back to our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one scoreboard with Brendan Shorey.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Starting in the A10, St. Joe's blows into the Windy City to take on Loyola Chicago today at 2. UMass pays Duquesne a visit later today at 2 as well. George Washington flies to Philly to match up against LaSalle. That one's at 2:30. A fierce VCU team hosts the Richmond Spiders later today at 4. And George Mason heads down to the Carolinas to take on Davidson at 4. Moving on to the top 25, Knoxville is very happy right now as their number 8 Tennessee Volunteers lead the number 5 Florida Gators 24-21 at the half. MSG is alive with number 15 St. John's leading unranked Providence 25-21 at the half. The number 23 Ole Miss Rebels try and stage a rebellion at home as they host the number 1 Auburn Tigers at 2 o'clock. It is that day of the year. UNC, Duke, Cooper Flagg, RJ Davis, lots of history. The tip-off for that one is at 6:30. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Brendan Shorey.
Thanks, Brendan. Welcome back to Olean, New York. Fordham trailing St. Bonaventure 33-22 with 3:45 to go in the first half. Lou, the Bonnies scoreless in their last 2:51. That's thanks in large part to the zone that Fordham's been playing, that 3-2 look. Although when you have a 6'11 guy like Noel Brown and Fordham running the small lineup that they've been running, a lot of responsibility for either Tripp or Reilly or whoever has to guard the 6'11 Brown.
It's a bold move by Tray Woodall, and it puts whoever it's going to be, right? Last few possessions, it's been Tripp and it's been Reilly. Whoever's going to have to guard Noel Brown, that's a real tough spot, and it's in 2 of the last 3 possessions. Fouls by Jameer Tripp because I think he's struggling to keep Brown in front of him. Here's the thing, the 3-2 zone, Fordham really locks in when they switch into it. They get more turnovers, they get more pressure on the guards up top, so it makes sense in a way to shut down Melvin Council and LeJay Jones and Jonah Hinton. I'm not sure you can put Timbila or Zona in when you play the 3-2 because of how well Bonaventure can spread the floor. You're going to need your guys down low to get out to the corner. Now, you think Timbila should probably be able to do that. Zona maybe not so much. But then again, you're in this situation where Noel Brown gets himself to the line because Tripp's having trouble staying with him, and you think the same thing with Zach Reilly. It's a tough pull back and forth. You're going to shut down the guards, but can you do enough to shut down Noel Brown when you're sitting in the zone?
It'll be a one-on-one opportunity for Noel Brown coming out of this media timeout. Think back to the Loyola Chicago game that Fordham had about a week and a half ago where they played the 3-2 zone, and it was a problem with Timbila and Zona closing out those corner threes. Free throw no good, and that's an empty trip again for the Bonnies.
And if you can make Brown, he's so efficient inside, if you can make him get his shots on the line, especially at one-on-ones, you'll take that. Fordham wins the possession there.
Josh Rivera has it on the far side for the Rams. To the near side wing for Jaffe Medor. Straight away for Reilly. Johnson has it up high. The crossover. Johnson drives left. High off the glass and in. Another impressive move with that left hand from Jackie Johnson. We're back within single digits, Lou.
None of his shots have come easy, but getting back into single digits is big. If the Rams can stay within single digits at halftime, not a bad spot considering how this game started.
33-24 Bonnies, 3:05 to go first half. Council to the corner. They feed it down low for LeJay Jones. Backing down to Rivera. Jones trying to flip. It's a mismatch down low with Brown. Rivera fouled him. Had to in that spot. It came to be Jackie Johnson matched up against Noel Brown, and that he really can't have.
I mean, that's the 3-2. If your guy in the right block's going to go out to the corner, the other guy has to go down to the block. That's LeJay Jones. That leaves Brown open, so one of your guards has to sat down and guard the center. It ends up being Jackie Johnson. That's the downside of the 3-2 zone.
Brown already 5 of 7 from the line in this game. Rattles that one home to make it 6 of 8. It's really a pick your poison type situation for Fordham. I think they know that in this zone, Bonnies are going to be feeding that ball down to Brown. Tray Woodall just confident that his guys can deal with it well enough.
And it's tough. Would you rather have one of the best guards in the A-10 beat you, or would you rather have one of the most efficient centers in the league beat you?
Both free throws good from Brown. Johnson has it in the front court, and he stepped on the sideline out of bounds. That's a turnover on Jackie Johnson.
Talked about that turnover battle. 6 for Fordham, 2 for Bonaventure.
Council quickly up ahead to Chance Moore, far side wing. Straight away for LeJay Jones. Jones down low for Jonah Hinton. Retreats back to the perimeter. This is Jones on the far side. Flip down low. They've got it to Brown. Working against Dean. He lost it. Stripped away by the Rams.
I like that matchup.
Johnson for Reilly down low. Straight away Medor will drive right on Council. And Council bumped, and that's going to be a foul on the floor on Melvin Council Jr.
How about Noel Brown? Medor kicks to the corner after the foul is called. Dean takes the 3, and Noel Brown goes up and catches that ball so that Dean doesn't see it go in. That's good. It's good gamesmanship there by the Bonnies.
No free buckets here in Olean.
I love it, Nick Guzman.
2:25 to go in the first half. 35-24 St. Bonaventure. Zach Reilly to inbound on the far side into Jaffe Medor at the Bonnies logo. Screen from Rivera. Medor dribbling right. Still on the perimeter straight away. Dean thought about the 3 to Johnson on this near side wing. Johnson drives in the lane. Got them in a bite on the pass fake, but missed the floater from point blank range off front rim. Bonnie's back the other way. Belonga straight away. This is Hinton. Swung out to this near side wing for Jones. Down low. Nifty move again from Chance Moore. Gets it to go with the left hand. It's back up to a 13-point Bonnie's lead.
Bonaventure starting to find the holes in this 3-2, and you wonder if Fordham will switch back to man before the end of the half.
Johnson on the far side to the corner for Reilly. Fakes the 3, drives baseline. Rivera has it now on the wing. Straight away for Dean. Rivera swung around the horn to this near side for Jackie Johnson. 8 to shoot for the Rams. Straight away Rivera. 5, step back 3 from Josh is perfect. What a shot from Josh Rivera. 37-27 Bonnies, 1:20 to go first half. We've seen that tough shot-making ability all season long from Josh.
He's one of their best tough shot-making forwards.
Hinton tried the entry pass. Going to be a kickball on the Rams.
And Bonaventure, better defense around the arc, not leaving those openings that were there earlier in the half. And so that forces for him to take a really tough look with 5 seconds left on the shot clock. But you're okay with the ball in the hands of Rivera. He's practiced that shot. He's made that shot before.
Rivera
back
now
to Bryant.
Rivera now checks out. Jameer Tripp is in. On the far side wing, LeJay Jones, straight away from Moore. Belonga driving on Reilly, step back from mid-range, off the heel. Dean can't get the rebound, it's Brown, finishes, missed the second chance too, and the third time lucky for Noel Brown. Fordham just don't have a body out there to match up with him.
You can't afford to give Bonaventure 3 chances in a possession.
Reilly straight away, 40 seconds to go first half. Trip, the far wing 3 is short. Rebound Belonga, the other way for Moore against Reilly. Zach Reilly with the foul. Bonnie's crowd did not like that. Hard foul from Zach Reilly. Both players back to their feet. 34 seconds to go first half. It's 39-27 Bonnies.
They may look at this to see if it's a flagrant. There's no doubt in anyone's mind that Zach Reilly is intentionally fouling there. He's going to make Chance Moore make those at the line, and the referees will go over to the monitor. And the question is it simply just 2 guys running really fast and there's a bump and he goes hard to the floor, or is there extreme contact that's unwarranted? To me, it looks like Reilly's half and half between trying to grab the ball and maybe last-ditch effort force a jump ball and just get hands on the shoulders there and make it clear that it's a foul. To me, that's not a flagrant, but Chance Moore takes a pretty hard fall and goes into the little bench right under the basket. It's a scary fall. You understand why the Bonaventure crowd doesn't like it.
I think it depends on what that other hand is doing for Zach Reilly, because there's the hand with the shock contest, and the other hand kind of had a hold around the body of Chance Moore. So if they deem that he really dragged him down to the ground, this could be a flagrant foul. It's 39-27 St. Bonaventure, 34 seconds to go first half. Fordham were able to cut this lead down to single digits a couple minutes ago, but the Bonnies have had some answers for that 3-2 zone, and mainly it's just that Fordham don't have a big enough body to match up with Noah Brown down low.
Yeah, you make 2 nice stops. Belonga takes a contested look that most of the time isn't going to go in, and then you get a miss from Brown inside. You had 2 chances for rebounds there, and what's one of the toughest things to do when you're sitting in a 3-2 zone is rebound. You need your guards to crash, and even then, talked about Fordham sitting in this 3-2 zone really without a true traditional forward. Maybe Ramad Dean, but even he's more of a combo forward than anything else. You just can't afford to give Bonaventure extra looks. They're already so much stronger than you on paper.
It's deemed a common foul, so just 2 shots coming here for Chance Moore. Though he's a guard, does not shoot the free throw that well. He knocks down the first one, 63% on the year for Chance Moore. Guy previously was at Missouri State and Arkansas. We talk about how so many of these Bonnie starters are prepared to go the distance. He's gone the distance 4 separate times this year. He's played all 40 minutes.
Missed the George Mason game with an injury, but he's come right back. And
second free throw off the heel, rebound by Dean. There's about a 3-second differential between shot and game clock. Jaffe Medor in no hurry. The Rams down 13. Medor in the front court. 20 on the game clock, 17 on the shot clock. Straight away for Jameer Tripp. Handoff for Jackie Johnson. Johnson, crossover, drive left again. Pivots in the lane at the left block, finds Tripp. 4 on the shot clock. Tripp gets it to go off the heel. 5 seconds to go in the half. The inbounds here to Hinton. Hinton from beyond half court, blocked away by Reilly. And that will do it here in the first half from the Reilly Center. It's St. Bonaventure 40, Fordham 29. The Rams are going to have their hands full in the second half if they want to come back in this game, Lou.
Yes, you're trailing by 11 against a Bonaventure team that is very strong defensively. They're not going to give you a ton of chances to run in transition to get second chance points. Trailing by double digits, that's staring down the barrel of a loaded gun. At the same time, the way that half was trending, trailing by 11 is not the worst thing in the world, and it's crucial that Fordham got that bucket at the end of halftime with Tripp there. You can come back from an 11-point deficit with a strong second half run, but it has to be the continuation of the trend of Fordham has to be the team that goes on the second half run and not the team that lets up the second half run. The majority of this season, they've been the team that lets up the second half run. They've tried to turn that on its head the last 2 games. That needs to continue in this second half.
Bonnie's shooting 53% from the field. Fordham going to have to shore things up on the defensive end if they want to make a run at this thing in the second half. So at the break here in Olean, it's St. Bonaventure 40, Fordham 29. We'll send it back to our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one halftime report with Evan Harkin and Brendan Shorey.
The one-on-one halftime report. Welcome into the Rose Hill Studios. I'm Evan Harkin, joined alongside Brendan Shorey, and St. Bonaventure is leading the Fordham Rams at half by a score of 40-29. Brendan, so far in this one, it looks one-sided. You look at the team stats, and St. Bonaventure leads in pretty much all those stats. They have less turnovers, more points in the paint, more rebounds. They're doing everything better than Fordham right now. But what we saw late in that first half, towards the ending minutes, was Fordham switching to that 3-2 zone. And the 3-2 zone made them work a little bit better on defense, but then we saw a little shift after that to go back to the Bonnies. Seemed like they almost figured out that zone.
Yeah, I mean, they would kick it out to the corner, which is the weak spot of that 3-2, and then down low where they'd get a matchup with their big on one of our guards, and you can't really defend that very easily. And so, yeah, they figured it out, but it took them a minute. And during that period of time where they didn't really know how to attack the 3-2 zone, Fordham was able to go on a little bit of a run and make it a lot closer than it was before they started the 3-2 zone. It gave them a little bit of breath of air almost that, hey, like, we can come back, we can do this. And then obviously they figured out the zone. So what I'm looking to see in the second half from Fordham defensively in that aspect is that they do throw another little wrinkle at St. Bonaventure, whether it's a 3-2 zone again, whether it's a 2-3 zone, something like that. They need to mix it up again.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it seems like when they're switching it up, that's when St. Bonaventure finally gets on their heels for a little bit. Even if it's taking them a little bit and then they finally figure out what to do against Fordham, at least, it made them take that step back. It seems to be the only way Fordham's going to be able to get St. Bonaventure to take that step back is to throw different looks at them, give them different things, maybe throw in a press, something like you were saying, another wrinkle into that 3-2. We were also mentioning maybe playing the 2-3. We were wondering why they went to the 3-2 instead of that 2-3, but a big reason might be Noel Brown, their center in the paint right now. He's got a lot, 13 points, been dominating down there, so maybe they're trying to get a little bit more help down there if they switch to a 2-3. I know they've been playing this 3-2, but we were thinking maybe go to a 2-3, get you some more help at the bottom.
Yeah, and that's really how they've been attacking this Fordham team offensively is not through the 3 ball. I mean, St. Bonnies is shooting 2 for 8 from 3, so it's not the 3 ball.
Right.
That's the primary way they're attacking Fordham. It's down low, and so switching to that 2-3 might give them a little breath. It gives extra help down there where they are scoring. I mean, they're shooting 53% from the floor, and it's not coming from 3. It's coming from inside.
Out rebounding, doing everything in the paint pretty much.
They are, and so throwing an extra man down another level, like throwing an extra level down there, where you can have 3 guys lower who can come and play help on that center whenever they need, and then obviously they can go chase when they kicks. But being able to have an extra person that you can bring down and double and trap that center when he gets the ball down low would be huge.
Right, and it seems that they went to that 3-2 kind of to protect against Melvin Council Jr. In that first game they played against St. Bonaventure, Melvin Council Jr., 25 points, 24 points, 8 assists, really broke open that game for the Bonnies. So Fordham probably coming into this one saying, we have to stop him. Let's get our guys on the perimeter, scare the ball out of his hands. But he's done a very good job of kicking it down to other people down low. So Fordham definitely going to have to switch it up a little bit. And then you look at Fordham defensively, it seems like they were playing very bad defensively. You look at the score of this, you say, as a defense, you can't let the other team score 40 points in the first half. That's not a formula to win the game. But a lot of that is coming off of Fordham's poor offense. There's a lot of turnovers that are leading to St. Bonaventure's points. So Fordham going to have to be better, more protective with the ball, take better care of the ball if they even want a chance defensively.
Yeah, and we heard Lou and Nick say, I mean, this St. Bonaventure's team's bread and butter is their defense. It's the ability to create turnovers. It's this suffocating defense that doesn't allow you to shoot efficiently from the floor. And they've done that. But their offense has not been the strong point, as they said. I mean, they're towards the bottom of the A-10 in points per game. So you can't allow a team to come out and drop 40 on you in the first half when they're one of the teams that is not as great offensively and their defense is their calling card.
Yeah, and points in the paint, a big sign right now for the Bonnies. They've got 26, Fordham only 16. That gap has closed, like we said, that little run Fordham went on. It gave them a little sense of hope, showed you that there is a way for them to go out there and win this game. It's really they're going to have to confuse the Bonnies a little bit to do that. But a big reason that these points in the paint difference is also going back to the point that Simbila really can't match up against their center on the other side, the St. Bonaventure center. Just been too big for them. Noel Brown, Nick's mentioned it multiple times on the broadcast. They just don't seem to have a body to get on him.
No, they don't. And it came a lot from that running that 3-2 zone.
Yes.
Is when they would send Noel Brown down into the post, and you'd have our bigs chasing in the corner. They'd dump it into the post to Noel Brown, and it'd be matched up with a little guard on him.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get that kind of matchup, obviously that's not ideal. But even in those times where we have had Simbila or Zona on Noel Brown, he's still able to get his way. I mean, 13 points. He's leading the Bonnies in points in the first half. That's not what you want to see from Fordham defensively.
Mm-hmm. Ramad Dean, another big point in these last two games. Fordham went on that little bit of a run, winning their last two games, and Ramad Dean played a big part in those, scoring 15 and 12 points, but very efficiently and more scoring than he typically does. Tray Woodall, interim head coach, said that, quote-unquote, Ramad is the heart of this team when he was talking to Nick Guzman. Tonight, Ramad, with only 2 points so far, hasn't been shooting the ball too much also. Only 2 shots from 3, 3 field goals overall attempted. So you want to see Ramad getting the ball up a little bit more. It seems like when he's able to join in on the scoring, this Rams offense takes another step.
Yeah, I want to see him kind of get in rhythm, too.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see him be able to get some open looks early in the second half so that he's able to catch a kind of rhythm and he's able to score more at will. I mean, he has been one of the key scorers these past couple of games for Fordham, and he's been playing great offensively more recently. So I would like to see him carry that into the second half, and I'd like to see Fordham kind of game plan and give him a couple open looks, design a couple plays for him to come around, have an open three, have an open drive, something like that, so that he's able to get going offensively and add to what this Fordham team has.
Yeah, a little more structure on this offense would be really nice. A little bit more format, more formulaic plays being run right now. Fordham chucking a lot of threes. They do that. They average 8 3-pointers taken a game. That's 138 total more than other teams 3-point-wise. So they're typically out shooting their opponents in 3-pointers. Right now, 4 for 14 from 3. So a team that typically takes 8 threes a game with 14 in the first half. Seems like they're just chucking up the ball from 3 out here. 28% from behind the line. That's not typical either. They're usually shooting 35. So in a game where the 3-point ball isn't working, like you said, you want to get those guys like Dean some plays ran for them, get into a rhythm.
And I think that really is a credit to St. Bonnie's defense. I mean,
yeah, that's true.
They have been great, and Fordham is chucking shots up basically.
Because
that's what it looks like. Yeah, but like we've from what we've seen and heard in the first half too. I mean, Fordham's being forced into some tough shots.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Rivera had to hit a tough step back 3. We're getting looks like that at the end of the shot clock too, where St. Bonnie's is pressing us for a majority of that shot clock, and then yet you have 5 seconds to go get up a shot. So it really is hard. I mean, you want Fordham to have more formulaic plays, as you said, something they can go to, something that would work, and they know it would work. But we need to see that coming out of the second half.
Absolutely. Josh Rivera, you mentioned him. Pretty good game from him so far. You mentioned he made some tough shots. Lou Orlando said he was one of the best tough shot makers on this team, a guy that's typically knocking them in at the end of the shot clock. 9 points right now on 75%. Not usually a guy who's leading the team in scoring at half. So when you have guys in the background stepping into the foreground and putting up points, you want to see those other guys, Jaffe Medor, Jackie Johnson, or Ramad Dean, really doing their part as well. But like you said, it all starts with finally breaking down that Bonnie's defense a little bit because it's been really strong.
Yeah, it does. And you mentioned Josh Rivera. I mean, yes, he's having a great game, and he's not typically known to be our 3-point shooter or one of our top 3-point shooters. And he's 2 of 3 from 3 today. He's kind of carrying the load. Him and Jaffe Medor from behind the arc have all of our 3-point makes today, which is not something you kind of expect to see from this Fordham team. You want to see Jackie Johnson get involved there. Yeah. You want to see him start making some of those threes. You want to see him start making some tough shots because he's made a couple, and that is what he's been doing all season long. But you need him to get more into it. He's 3 of 10 from the floor, 0 of 2 from 3. You need to see a little bit more from Jackie Johnson.
Absolutely. And coming into this one, you would think that looking at the stats from the past 2 Fordham W's, it seems to be working when Jackie doesn't have to do it all. And those Fordham W's, Jackie didn't score a lot of points, under 15 points in both of them, and other guys were able to step up. Jackie played more efficiently, had more assists. But like you're saying, it seems like this game's trending in a direction where you need Jackie to go throw on the Superman cape and be the guy he was earlier on in the season, dropping 20-plus points because he's the only guy that can really get it done scoring-wise against good defensive teams. So you might need to see Jackie Johnson go out there and put some more shots up, take a little bit more of the load on his own shoulders.
Yeah, and you want to see some efficiency overall, too. You want to see I mean, I mentioned it. Jackie Johnson, 3 of 10 from the floor, 0 of 2 from 3. And you got guys, Zach Reilly, 0 of 2 from the floor, Ramad Dean, 1 of 3. You need to see those guys become a little more efficient with their shots. And you want to see them get better looks, take better shots, become more efficient. And in that way, Jackie Johnson will not have to put on the superhero cape.
Absolutely. Well, if Fordham can throw a couple more wrinkles in defensively, maybe confuse this Bonnies defense and offense, because they're really doing it on both sides of the floor right now, they can get back into this one. And we'd love to chat about this game all afternoon, but the second half is starting up over at St. Bonaventure University. I've been Evan Harkin alongside Brendan Shorey, and we're sending you back to the Reilly Center for the second half of Rams vs. Bonnies with Lou Orlando and Nick Guzman. Stay tuned here on WFUV Sports.
Thank you, Evan and Brendan. We're back here at the Reilly Center in Olean, New York. Nick Guzman and Lou Orlando on the call with you. Score 40-29, St. Bonaventure here at the halftime break. Lou, so many connections between these Fordham and the St. Bonaventure team. Tray Woodall spent a couple years here as an assistant coach, and they won the Atlantic 10 regular season title, the Atlantic 10 tournament title in 2021, and him and Mark Schmidt maintain a close relationship.
Well, and it's one of the strongest seasons Bonaventure's had in their program history. And yes, Tray Woodall talked to Mark Schmidt a couple of days ago coming into this game. This is the final game as the interim head coach for Tray Woodall. Keith Ergo will be back in action next Wednesday against Rhode Island. And it's been, I think, a strong showing so far for Tray Woodall. Underrated is the fact that when he took this over, Fordham was winless in the A-10. He got them their first 2 wins. Now he's in his toughest match yet against one of the strongest coaches in the A-10, coming off his 400th career win. That puts him in elite category, in elite territory among active D1 coaches, does Mark Schmidt, and he's done such a strong job with this Bonaventure team. There's a reason you don't feel that confident trailing by double digits going into the second half against Bonaventure. An 11-point lead might be doable against other teams. Not that it's not doable against the Bonnies, but you have to play the best second half that you've played this season. And you know Tray Woodall would love to end this 4-game stint as interim coach at 3-1. Leave Olean, New York with a stunning upset win over a Bonaventure team that, even though they've hit their ups and downs, I think people understand this should be and can be a top 4 team in the A-10, a top 4 seed in the A-10. We talked earlier in the game about how tight it is. Fordham's got to really change some things going into the second half. You need sharper production offensively, and you need to decide what you want to do defensively. Are you fine taking away the guards in the 3-2 zone and letting Brown feast all second half, or are you going to go back to a man and give some more time to Matt Zona and Timbila? Zona only plays 5 minutes. Timbila only plays 8 minutes. Fordham goes with a smaller set for the late portions on that first half. And yes, they get some shots here and there, but that half felt largely dominated by St. Bonaventure.
And Noel Brown was the Bonnies' leading scorer with 13 points, and that's largely because just the pure size mismatch they had down low when Fordham was in that 3-2 zone. It's going to be really interesting to see whether Coach Woodall wants to stick with that. Does he want to try Abdu or Matt Zona in that look and just emphasize how important it is to be able to get out to close out those shooters in the corner? Because I think the minute you put more attention on Brown down low, that's when the Bonnies start kicking the ball to the corner and the threes start raining down.
Yeah, I mean, right, so far for Bonaventure, 2 of 8 from 3, but 54% from the field. Well, that's because that's where the openings have been. The openings have been inside. If you go back to man, all of a sudden you open yourself up to Melvin Council Jr., who only has 7 points through 1 half of play. That's a kid that can go off. He displayed his talents twice in the Rose Hill Gym in back-to-back seasons. Jonah Hinton is a shooter that can get going just like that, snap of a finger. LeJay Jones is coming off a career-high 6 3-pointers made in a phenomenal outing against Dayton. 23 points, 1 shy of a career high. He's someone I think has been relatively quiet. 6 points, and it felt like, well, he hasn't had as big of an impact, certainly, as he had against Dayton. So that's the risk that you run if you go back to a man. You you give yourself a better matchup with Noah Brown as you open yourselves up to 3 elite guards. And we haven't even mentioned Chance Moore yet, who going into the first matchup between these two teams was Bonaventure's leading scorer. Had that injury against George Mason, came back, put up 21 points against VCU. So he's a guy, another guy that could get going. There's a reason that Mark Schmidt can play this starting 5, basically 40 minutes a game, each and every one of them.
And the other thing, Lou, is Brown sat for 4 minutes in that first half. His replacement, the freshman Xander Wedlow, played 4 minutes and scored 8 points on 4 of 4 shooting. So you feel like maybe in a different team he would get some more looks in the second half, but I think you can still expect in a Mark Schmidt coach team, it's going to be a heavy load on Brown in the second half.
Dwayne Thompson, who's a guy on Bonaventure's bench, put up 16 points against George Mason. He hasn't played since because LeJay Jones hasn't come out of the rotation. So that's just Mark Schmidt basketball.
16 points in 21 minutes for Thompson, and he hasn't been able to snuff the floor since. Jaffe Medor up high for the Rams as we're underway in the second half. Zach Reilly straight away for Ahmad Dean. Jackie Johnson has it up high for Fordham. For Timbila, straight away. To the near side wing, Ahmad Dean. The screen from Timbila. Feed down low from Dean. Timbila in the paint gets it to go with the right hand. Good-looking offense there on their first possession of the half for the Rams.
You hope Timbila wakes up a little bit because what Brown did in the first half, Timbila can have that effect in the paint.
It's a 9-point Bonaventure lead, 40 seconds into this second half. From the free throw line, that shot off the heel from LeJay Jones. Rebound loose. Reilly gets it to Johnson the other way for Fordham. Johnson in the lane, thought about a shot, will kick out to the perimeter for Medor. On the wing, it's Dean. His 3 is short. Rebound LeJay Jones. Jonah Hinton pushes the tempo for the Bonnies. On this near side wing, straight away for LeJay Jones.
Still zone for Fordham.
Still the 3-2 zone with the 3 men pressuring up high. Hinton out to the far side wing for Moore. Council flips down low. They got it to Brown, and he banks it in off the glass with the left hand. It was Dean matched up with Brown that time.
And Dean gets caught out in front, so Brown's closest to the basket. Even if help comes, that's going to be a basket more often than it's not.
42-31, Bonnie's minute and a half gone by in this first half. Timbila up high. Fakes the handoff to Johnson to the near wing for Dean. Feed down low for Abdu. Abdu will try it from mid-range, and he knocks it down. Abdu Timbila, that shot's a part of his repertoire, and shows it off there. Ahead for Chance Moore for the Bonnies. Moore gets inside and finishes over Abdu. 44-33, St. Bonaventure. Back and forth offense here in this second half. Timbila. Handoff for Johnson, the pick and roll. Timbila down low, lost the handle. Out of bounds on the baseline, last touch off Abdu. That's a turnover.
It feels very characteristic of what the Abdu Timbila experience has been this year. Really strong spurts, 4 straight points. He looks great offensively, and then just, frankly, a really bad turnover that should never happen.
St. Bonaventure with it in the front court. Jonah Hinton has it up high. Still the 3-2 zone from Fordham. Council now moving in towards the middle, trying to be that man to receive the penetrating pass. Up high, it's Moore. Hinton drives in the lane, out to the far wing. Jones thought about a 3. He'll drive baseline instead. 5 seconds to shoot. Jones backing down Reilly. He spins, got around Reilly, took the bump, and couldn't finish at the rim. It's going to be 2 free throws coming for LeJay Jones, because just got that inside body position on Zach Reilly.
Bonaventure's size up and down the lineup, really once you get past Council and Hinton. Moore 6'6", Jones 6'7", Brown 6'11". It's been a problem for Fordham. That's a tough matchup for Zach Reilly, but if Timbila's worried about Brown or he's worried about Moore, that's probably the matchup.
But even Council at 6'4", as free throw is good from LeJay Jones. Council at 6'4", Hinton at 6'3". Fordham's guards, Jaffe Medor and Jackie Johnson, are 6 foot and 5'11".
It's size mismatches up and down the lineup.
Fordham have had trouble dealing with that this afternoon. Both free throws are good for LeJay Jones. 46-33 Bonnies, 2.5 minutes gone by second half. Jaffe Medor into the front court for the Rams. Handoff up high for Johnson. Straight away, Zach Reilly has it now. Watched closely by Chance Moore. Out to the near wing. Johnson's 3's perfect. Jackie Johnson buries the triple. He needed that. Back to within a 10-point game. Bonaventure quickly the other way. Chance Moore in the lane. Straight away for Brown. Hinton has it up high against Zach Reilly in this zone. Hinton for Council. Inside pass for Jones. Back door. Medor got his hand on it as that ball went out of bounds on the baseline. Bonaventure having a guard slide into that middle spot to try to get the penetrating pass to attack the zone that way. Council to inbound underneath the basket. 13 to shoot for St. Bonaventure. Flipped in towards Brown. Dean got a hand on it, but it comes right to Council, who banks it in off the glass. Just an unlucky bounce there for Fordham. It's St. Bonaventure by 12, 16:40 to go second half.
Bonaventure's been the better team. They've also been the luckier team, and both things can be true.
Medor circling around to this near side on the baseline to the corner for Johnson. Cross-court pass looking for Dean, tipped away by Chance Moore, out of bounds on the far side.
I don't like that pass from Jackie
Not
Johnson.
one bit.
More often than not, that's a turnover, and was going to give him a compliment on that last possession. If he can get going, you heard Brendan Shorey say it, right? If he can get going, that changes the complexion of the offense, but you need him to be smart in these possessions, especially when you're down double digits.
Fordham have been within this 9 to 12 point range for a while now. Feed down low for Reilly to the corner for Dean. His triple, no good off front rim. Chance Moore the rebound. He'll push the pace for the Bonnies. Council has it. A deep three from Hinton is off front rim, way short. Dean the rebound, Jackie Johnson with it now. Ill-advised shot there from Jonah Hinton. Johnson drives left again and got the step on Council, off the glass and in. Back to a 10-point game, 15:55 to go second half. Council with it, the Bonnies logo. Zach Reilly, the defender, watching him. Out for Hinton. Council. Johnson drives left again and got the step wide on open. The three from Jones in and out. Rebound Tim Bila. Back to a 10-point. Open look, that corner look that we were talking about in that zone.
He's not going to miss many of those. He is a phenomenal three-point shooter. 45% for the line. That's second in the A10.
Medor attacks with the left hand. Wild layup up and under. Gets it to go off the glass. Fordham within 8. Loose ball on this near side. Reilly dives for it. Timeout Fordham. And it's going to be Fordham basketball. 15:19 to go in the second half. The Rams with an 8 and the ball.
It's a definition of a hustle play. There's a reason Zach Reilly has earned his way into the starting lineup. And if you don't watch the games, you might look at the box score and go, why is this guy starting over Josh Rivera and Jameer Tripp? He brings defensive stability to this rotation, and he is exactly what Coach Urgo and this coaching staff are looking for when they preach attitude. The biggest thing I think about when I think about attitude is fighting for loose balls, falling on loose balls, and as soon as Zach Reilly even sniffs that this ball might hit the floor, that there might be a chance for a turnover, he's all over it. We said it the first half, this is a Bonaventure team that does not turn over the ball all that open. When you have a chance, you have to go all out like your life depends on it. That's what Zach Reilly did.
There's a reason why Zach Reilly is the middleman in that 3-2 zone. It's a lot of responsibility on Reilly, but his fourth year now at the program, and easily his best year so far, making impacts on both ends of the floor. So it's 48-40 St. Bonaventure with 15:19 to go in the second half. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Live from the Big Easy, WFUV Sports has you covered for all things Super Bowl 59.
I'm Will Talent.
And I'm Evan Harkin.
We're two of your Super Bowl 59 beat reporters,
keeping you up to date on all of the events during Radio Row from New Orleans.
Will Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs make history with their third straight Super Bowl victory?
Or will Saquon Barkley and the Eagles soar to their second Super Bowl win in franchise history?
Catch all of the action live from Radio Row on our YouTube page at WFUV Sports.
And follow along for live updates at the big game on Sunday, February 9th.
WFUV Sports, your home for Super Bowl 59 coverage.
Welcome back inside the Reilly Center, where the Fordham Rams are hanging tough against St. Bonaventure in a hostile road environment. The Bonnies lead the Rams 48-40 with 15:19 to go in this second half. But Lou, it was an 11-point deficit at the halftime break. Fordham have been able to cut it down to 8. The 3-2 zone working really well.
Yes, and it's, I think, in large part because Bonaventure not taking advantage of the corner threes. LeJay Jones, who, I'll say it again in case you guys didn't hear me the first time, 45.7% from the line, second in the A-10, trailing only Cam Crawford. Misses an open three. He's only taken 2 today. He's passed up on a few more looks I thought for sure he would take. If Bonaventure is not going to be aggressive from behind the three-point line, Nick, you said it to me off air, just plug up the middle, do your best to stop Noel Brown, and let the threes fall as they may. Fordham has a swagger to them when they get stops and turnovers defensively. It's a swagger we're starting to see. You're starting to see momentum. You're starting to see them string together multiple strong possessions on both sides of the floor. You're down 8. You've got the basketball. This is the most things have trended on their side probably all game long.
Fordham basketball here. Rivera to inbound. It's Rivera, Medor, Johnson, Zona, and Dean, the 5 for your Fordham Rams. 15-15 to go second half. Jaffe Medor with the ball at the Bonnies logo. Straight away, Ramad Dean. Handoff for Jackie Johnson straight away. Johnson drives left. Got the step. Couldn't get the roll off the glass. Rebound by Hinton back the other way. To Jones. He'll drive around Zona. Beautiful layup with the left hand. The reverse.
And that's more like it. He's just such a complete player.
Fordham quickly back the other way. Rivera missed. Zona gets fouled on the putback. Fordham one pass to get up court there. And the foul is called. Matt Zona will be at the free throw line. 14:49 to go in the first half. 50-40 St. Bonaventure, who's entered another media timeout.
Yeah, there should be more of a look for Fordham to do that when they can. Jones hits a reverse layup. You get the ball very quickly. Yeah, push up that weak side. Bonaventure's not fully set up yet. When Bonaventure gets into their defensive sets, they're one of the best teams in the nation. You don't get the 19th best scoring defense in the nation by accident. They honored the 2000 St. Bonaventure team that won the A-10 title and made the first round of the NCAA tournament. That was a team that only allowed 61 points per game defensively. So this has been a staple at Bonaventure under numerous head coaches. It's not by accident. It's St. Bonaventure basketball. One of the ways you can avoid facing that really tough defense is if you get them running. You run in transition, there's only so much you can do to stop it. There's only so many sets you can run. You're relying on our athleticism versus your athleticism. Fordham actually has pretty solid athleticism when you look up and down the A-10. Yeah, get the ball into the hands of Josh Rivera. And if he doesn't make the layup the first time, awesome. It's another great fill by Matt Zona in the paint, gets the offensive rebound, draws the foul. You're going back to the line. For Fordham, you got to play into your strengths. You're not going to beat Bonaventure in a half-court set all game long. That's their bread and butter. What's your bread and butter? Let's try that again. What's your bread and butter? It's the transition offense, so take it when you got it.
It's 50-40 St. Bonaventure with 14:49 to go in the second half. Fordham shooting 45% from the field, 29% from deep. Their leading scorer, Jackie Johnson, with 11 points on 5 of 13 shooting. Josh Rivera, another big 9 points on 3 of 5 shooting in just 14 minutes off the bench. He's been such a spark plug for Fordham. Could easily be a starter in this conference for pretty much any team, I think. But his role coming off the bench to be that spark works perfectly.
Yeah, I really like what Fordham has settled into with Rivera and Tripp off the bench. There was a time where Coach Ergo said, I don't foresee Jameer Tripp coming out of the starting lineup, and he was right at the time. He was playing out of his mind. But I like the stability that they've fallen into with Zach Reilly being in the starting 5. That gives them defensive stability. And then you have elite scorers, at least in Fordham standards, Rivera and Tripp coming off the bench so that you don't lose too much when you go into your bench. If you give Jackie a spell, if you give Ramad Dean a spell, if you give Jaffe Medor, who's been really on the floor more often than not, they really don't give him a spell, and for good reason. But if you ever needed to, you have those scorers off the bench that can carry you for a stint. I like having that strength in numbers off the bench. And you think back to the LaSalle game, they won the bench point battle 36-4. That's a staggering number. It's a testament to what Tripp and Rivera have done off the bench.
2 shots coming here for Matt Zona. First free throw is perfect. Zona had a really good game against LaSalle in limited minutes. In just 13 minutes, he was 5 of 5 from the field and 3 of 3 from deep. Just 13 minutes of action, picked up a couple of fouls, but I mean, talk about a spark off the bench.
A point per minute for the kid from Rockland County. How about that, Nick Guzman?
Love to see it as Zona goes 2 for 2 from the line. Fordham back within single digits. It's an 8-point game, 50-42 in favor of the Bonnies. 14:43 to go second half. Noah Bologna straight away for Melvin Council. Fordham still in the 3-2 zone. Bologna near side wing. Straight away again for Council. Bologna back to Council. They play catch, under 10 on the shot clock. Bologna to the corner, LeJay Jones. Dean watching him. Jones will pop it off front rim and out. Rebound by Brown underneath. Got it over Zona. They keep the possession alive.
He's so strong.
Back out to Council. Hinton fakes the three. Bologna on the far side. Knocks it down. The second chance for the Bonnies, and they make Fordham pay. 53-42 St. Bonaventure. 14 minutes to go second half.
That's the one thing if you're Fordham, you got to hope they don't wake up from beyond the arc.
Jameer Tripp near side wing. Feeds the post for Zona. Back up top again for Tripp. The pump. He drives. Tripp nowhere close on that floater. Saved somehow by Bologna. Intercepted by Medor. The upcourt pass. Jaffe lost the handle, though, as he went up for the layup. That's a turnover. St. Bonaventure basketball.
It's a really bad possession by the Fordham Rams. It doesn't get much worse than that. It's a bad shot by Jameer Tripp. You salvage it with the interception, and Medor loses it off his own body.
Jones into the front court for the Bonnies. Bologna to the logo for Melvin Council. Council out to the far wing. Hinton. Council now on the near side. Down low for Bologna at the free throw line. Back up top for Hinton on the far wing. Hinton drives left on Rivera. Picks up his dribble. Out again to Bologna on the perimeter. 6 on the shot clock. Bologna drives on Zona. Kicks out. That ball's out of bounds. It'll be a turnover intended for Jonah Hinton. But that's the 3-2 zone of perfection. You keep the ball on the perimeter, and the Bonnies never get an open look.
Bonaventure struggling to find an opening. 6 turnover. Fordham's got 8. All things considered, it's been close. It's less about Fordham taking care of the ball and more about they've forced turnovers on the Bonaventure side.
Rivera has it on the far wing for Fordham. Feeds low block for Zona. Up high Tripp to the corner for Medor. He fakes. Thought about the step back. Tripp up high. He'll get to the lane. Tripp. Layup no good. Zona the board. Missed the putback, but he got fouled. And 2 more shots coming from Matt Zona.
I will say here that is closer to what we saw at the beginning of the first half. Fordham passing up open threes. I thought Tripp and Medor both could have pulled there from deep, had an opening, and then Tripp actually had Rivera on the left wing wide open from deep. You're getting 2 free throws here, so it's not the end of the world, but there's easier ways to score than the way they're going for.
First shot from Zona is off the heel and out. Fordham passing up some open shots on that last sequence. I think part of the reason why they were so successful against LaSalle was pretty much anybody who had an open look was pulling the trigger. Whether it's Jameer Tripp from deep, Matt Zona from deep, Rivera, everybody was willing to shoot the basketball. Zona goes 1 for 2 from the line.
I think you can tell it's a split second of hesitation of, all right, I'm not wide open. Do I take this or do I make the extra pass? And that, you can't have that. When you're playing confident, you don't have that in the back of your mind.
It is a 10-point St. Bonaventure lead, 12:40 to go second half. Melvin Council Jr. at the Bonnies logo. Out to the far side for Hinton. Swung back to the near side. Council, again it's Hinton. Council drives, gets inside on Zona. Acrobatic move to avoid the contact and finish off the back of the rim.
Even in a 3-2, you're not going to keep him quiet all day long. He has just stunning athleticism.
Medor the other way, down low. Good pass for Tripp. To the corner for Medor on this near side. Medor drives left, gets to the lane, rises from mid-range and gets the roll off front iron. Back to a 10-point game with 12:05 to go second half. Council to the far side for Hinton. Hinton to the corner, LeJay Jones working against Zona. Jones feeds down low. Wedlow got around Tripp and finishes. Xander Wedlow has played just 5 minutes in this game. Pass up ahead for Medor, almost intercepted by LeJay Jones. Out of bounds on the sideline. Fordham will keep it. But Xander Wedlow, I mean, talk about a cameo for him. Comes in and makes that basket. It's 10 points for him now in 5 of 5 shooting.
It's a career high 10 points. Mark Schmidt doesn't turn to the bench a ton, but he has turned to the bench here. He's given Chance Moore a little bit of a breather, and Daniel Wedlow has shined, and Jameer Tripp, I think, really struggling to battle with these true forwards in the post.
So with 11:43 to go in the second half, we've hit our under 12 media timeout. The score, St. Bonaventure 57, Fordham 45. We'll send it back to our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one scoreboard with Brendan Shorey.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Starting in the A10, St. Joe's heads to Chi-Town to take on the Loyola Chicago Ramblers at 2. Duquesne is hosting UMass and in a bit at 2. GW pickup, LaSalle is calling you to Philly. That one is at 2:30. Richmond gets to stay in-state as they travel to VCU later today at 4. George Mason heads down to the Carolinas to take on Davidson at 4 as well. Moving over to top 25, Knoxville is happy right now as their number 8 Tennessee Volunteers lead the number 5 Florida Gators 58-37 with 5 minutes to go. The Garden is roaring with number 15 St. John's leading unranked Providence 52-34 10 minutes into the second half. Is this SEC football or SEC basketball? We got a ranked matchup at hand between the number 20 Mizzou and number 14 Mississippi State. Mizzou up 45-31 at the half. The number 1 team in the country, Auburn Tigers, will try and prey on number 23 Ole Miss. That one's at 2. Try to say this 3 times fast. It's a blue blood battle tonight between number 2 Duke and North Carolina. Tip-off is at 6:30. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Brendan Shorey.
Thanks, Brendan. Welcome back to Olean, New York. St. Bonaventure with a 57-45 lead over Fordham at the Reilly Center with 11:43 to go in the second half. This is Nick Guzman here alongside Lou Orlando. And Lou, Fordham have been within that 8 to 12 point range. Really, it seems like for the last 12-13 minutes, dating back to the first half, just really have been unable to close that deficit. It seems like when they get it to 8, Bonaventure immediately put it back up to 12.
And it makes sense, right? Bonaventure's not a team that you see allowing big runs. I think the biggest swing we saw was in the first 4 minutes of the second half, capped off by Zach Reilly falling on that ball and creating the turnover. It's going to be difficult for Fordham to create that 12-point swing. You're going to have to do it in different chunks. The first goal is getting within single digits and staying there. So that's probably a 3-possession swing, you'd say. It's going to be really tricky. I think Bonaventure's playing with confidence. You're starting to see the guards play make more. Jones, Moore, Council waking up a little bit. And Fordham defensively just not making the stops consistently. It's not a recipe for making any significant headway.
Tripp inbounds to Medor. Zach Reilly has it up high. It's Tripp, Timbila, Rivera, Medor, Reilly, the 5 for the Rams. Josh Rivera attacks and gets it to go off the glass.
He's got phenomenal strength, and you can see him be a legitimate scorer in the post when he turns around. He's really perfected that bank shot in the paint.
11 points now for Josh Rivera, back to a 10-point Bonaventure lead. Melvin Council on the near side wing. Screen up high from Wedlow. Council driving baseline. Inside for Wedlow against Abdu. Wedlow will kick it back out here to Bologna. The shot. The triple off front rim, no good. It'll come to Council, though. Bonaventure keeps the possession alive. Great tip there from Jonah Hinton to get the offensive board. Council. Pressure up high from Tripp. Council will drive. He's got Abdu down there now. Council can't get the roll on the layup. Timbila the rebound.
Now Timbila contests the shot, and then he's right there for the rebound. That's what Fordham needs on more possessions if you're going to get back in this game.
Medor has it up high for Fordham. Dribble handoff for Reilly. Tripp now, straight away. Down low for Rivera to the corner. Reilly, he'll try the 3. No good. Rebound Bologna.
It's a solid look, though.
Back the other way, attacking Reilly. Shot no good. Great defense from Zach and from Abdu Timbila.
Bologna's hurt. This is a 5-on-4.
Bologna hurt in the backcourt. Medor to the corner. Tripp's 3 is good. Huge 3 from Jameer Tripp. Fordham take advantage of the extra man. 57-50 the score now for St. Bonaventure. And now with 10:01 to go in the second half, you hope that Noah Bologna is okay.
That's a tough break. It looked like Bologna lost balance as he's driving right as he gets to the rim. I'd like to see a replay if there's any bump from Reilly or maybe a bump. It looks like Timbila jumps afterwards to try and block it. the shot wasn't going in regardless. I think he hit his head. There's two thick pieces of padding on either side of the hoop. He took a hard fall and tumble, and then it's a tough break for Bonaventure. You're playing a man down, Tripp goes to the corner where there's no one there, he hits the open three, and then Bonaventure's able to get the stoppage. So that's a tough break for the Bonnies. It's a big break for the Fordham Rams. You talked about getting this game back into single digits consistently. 7 points, he can keep it there.
Under 10 to go second half. Noah Belonga, okay, checks out of the game. Bonaventure with possession straight away through Jonah Hinton. Hinton for Chance Moore, far side wing. Straight away again for Hinton. Drives left on Reilly. And that's going to be a hold on Zach Reilly, or Abdu Timbila rather, down low. Jockeying position with Noel Brown. And that's 3 fouls now on Abdu.
It's a tough, unenviable task for Abdu Timbila.
Council into Hinton for Council near wing. Timbila watching him. Out to the far side. Hinton straight away. Council. Council against Abdu. Crossover. Backing in. Righty hook shot is good. He's so athletic. Melvin Council Jr. gets around the bigger body and restores a 9-point Bonaventure lead with 9:23 to go second half. Jameer Tripp has it straight away for the Rams. Tripp driving left, gets inside, finds Abdu for the dunk. Abdu Timbila slams it home. Great find from Jameer Tripp. Fordham back within 7.
Something about the Rams, the last 3 games, the passing has gotten a lot better. They've gotten more deceptive, trying out some no-look passes. I love it.
Council to the corner. Hinton's three, in and out. Timbila got bumped, couldn't get the board, and I think he's going to get whistled for his 4th foul.
I'm going to collect myself here. That's a bad foul by Abdu Timbila.
That's going to be on Jaffe Medor. The foul's on Jaffe Medor, which is big. His 2nd foul. Looked like
what I saw was Abdu Timbila took a shot at Melvin Council Jr. there.
Council the inbound underneath as the foul goes against Medor. Hinton has it near side wing. For Brown, handoff for Hinton, lost it, but it comes to Chance Moore on the far wing. Straight away for Hinton. 12 on the shot clock. Hinton for Council. Council will square up the 3, no good. Rebound Josh Rivera. Timbila let him have that one, and Council missed it.
Sagged off. Council struggled from 3 in A-10 play, below 25%.
Timbila the screen. Medor baseline, takes the contact, couldn't get it to go. Timbila couldn't grab the board. Stolen by Josh Rivera. Rivera gets inside and gets the foul as he went up for it. Josh Rivera, the athletic play to reach over his head, get that steal, and now he's going to the free throw line.
Fordham's always going to have some pressure defensively. I'm kind of surprised with St. Bonaventure. I don't know that this is all Fordham forcing these turnovers. I think that's a bad pass on that baseline inbound, and we're seeing them make uncharacteristic decisions on some of these offensive possessions.
2 big free throws here for Josh Rivera as the student section here at the Reilly Center gets loud. Rivera knocks down the first one. 59-53 Bonnies.
A chance to make this a 5-point game. That would be the closest the Rams have been since early in the first half.
8:25 to go in the second half. Fordham are hanging around here in Olean. Jackie Johnson back into the game for Jameer Tripp. Second free throw coming for Josh Rivera. Rivera, second one no good. Timbila crashed the glass but couldn't quite secure the offensive board. Council the other way for the Bonnies, has it at the logo. 59-53 St. Bonaventure, 8:15 to go second half. Jonah Hinton on the far side. Straight away for LeJay Jones. Council, near side wing, Medor guarding him closely. Council looking to drive. The pass back door, Jones passed up the 3, straight away for Moore. Moore against Timbila. What a move by Chance Moore to get around Abdu Timbila and finish at the rim.
I mean, they get the shots. They're passing up open looks and making tough contested 2s. But my guy, they've got the talent to do it.
61-53 Bonnies, 7:45 to go second half. Zach Reilly straight away for the Rams. Reilly for Johnson coming around the screen. He'll try the 3. That's good. Huge shot from Jackie Johnson. Fordham back within 5.
First half, it was so tough for Jackie to get open. That's 2 open 3s off his screens he's gotten on that right wing. He's made both of them count.
61-56 St. Bonaventure. 7:20 to go second half. Straight away LeJay Jones for Melvin Council. Feeds the post for Brown. Timbila on him. Brown backing him down. Timbila falls, and that's going to be a blocking foul on Abdu Timbila, and that's going to be his fourth.
That's a tough break now for the Rams. Abdu Timbila, you need to play physical when you're guarding Noel Brown. That's going to result in some fouls. He's been, I think, a big anchor in keeping Brown a little more quiet here in the second half, giving someone that's his size to battle with down low. I don't know that you can keep Timbila in here with 7:11 left. I think you want to give yourself the option to put him in final 4 minutes of this game if Noel Brown becomes a problem. So now you're taking out Timbila. Are you putting Zona in, or are you going to go smaller? Either way, this is forcing the hand of Tray Woodall in a crunch time situation.
I think it's no question that Fordham's defense has been much better in this game when Abdu's been on the floor. Now you just have the balancing act of him playing with the 4 fouls. The score, St. Bonaventure 61, Fordham 56. We've reached our under 8 media timeout with 7:11 to go in the second half. You're listening to Fordham men's basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hey sports fans, it's Bobby C. I'm the sports director here at WFUV. From live broadcasts of Fordham athletics to coverage of all the professional sports teams in the NYC, we've got everything a sports fan could ask for. Like talking sports? Check out One on One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show, as well as our diverse collection of podcasts. If you're a Fordham student interested in joining our program, feel free to shoot me an email, bobbyc@wfuv.org. And as always, thank you to all of our listeners who support us every week. 90.7 FM is the home of WFUV Sports.
Fordham are hanging tough with St. Bonaventure here at the Reilly Center. The Bonnies lead the Rams 61-56 with 7:11 to go in the second half. Nick Guzman here alongside Lou Orlando. And Lou, considering the 20-point, you can call it a massacre, a blowout that we saw St. Bonaventure put on Fordham back on January 4th at the Rose Hill Gym, this has been a very, very impressive effort for the Rams. And I think it shows a lot about how far they've come in this Atlantic 10 season. But now you got to finish the job here on the road. It's still a lot of work to do.
We asked Tray Woodall, we said, what did you learn from that January 4th game, the 20-point loss? He said, we're a different team, and they're a different team. And that's true. It's only 1 month difference. But St. Bonaventure has fallen on some hard times. They had that 3-game losing streak. They're below 500 in A-10 play. And Fordham is now back in the swing of things. They've gotten confidence. They've won 2 straight. And how about this? You're within 5 points with 7:11 left. Fordham has a chance to make a statement on the road, and need I remind you, last 2 games Fordham has played at the Reilly Center, both have gone their way despite the hostile environment. And I have to say, I don't know that the crowd is as loud and had as much of an impact as this place can have. When this place is bumping, it's one of the biggest home court advantages in the A-10. I'm not sure we felt it yet.
Council Jr. to inbound for St. Bonaventure underneath, gets into the corner for LeJay Jones. Straight away up high, Jonah Hinton has it now. 7:05 to go second half. 61-56 St. Bonaventure. Melvin Council Jr. at the Bonnies logo. 10 on the shot clock. Council drives inside for Brown against Zona. Took the bump and finishes through contact. Noel Brown has just been so good in those spots this afternoon, finishing again.
And that matchup between him and Zona, who's not as strong defensively, will be something to watch.
Medor for Johnson straight away. Jameer Tripp up high, 63-56 Bonnies. Zona thought about a 3. Handoff for Johnson. On this near side wing, Jackie thought about the step back, instead feeds the post for Zona. 8 to shoot. Tripp has it. Need to make something happen here. Tripp for Zona. Medor on the far wing. He's open, and he buries the 3. Huge shot from Jaffe Medor. 63-59 Bonnies. 6:15 to go second half.
Fordham, that's going to be 4 of 7 from deep in the second half. Bonaventure 1 of 7. That's been the difference in this swing.
Council at the logo. Medor watching him. Hinton to Jones in the corner. Fordham back to a man-to-man look here. Brown at the top of the key. for Hinton, near side wing for Brown at the free throw line. Brown looking to spin on Zona, gets inside and gets it to go. Fordham bench wanted to travel. Noel Brown, nifty footwork, banks in and off the glass.
19 points. That matchup's going to be a problem. I wonder if you have to go small ball and just ride with Tripp guarding Noel Brown. I'm just not sure Zona's going to be able to hang with one of the best forwards in the A-10.
6-point Bonnies lead. Johnson, near side wing, driving baseline. Johnson fell down, and it's going to be a foul called by the referee on the far side. The referee on the baseline was prepared to point that in St. Bonaventure's direction. On the referee on the far side calls it a foul.
Well, this sold-out crowd's going to give it to him, and that it always comes as a shock when the referee that's further away makes a call that contradicts the referee closer to the action. Yeah, I understand why the crowd's booing. That's a stunning call.
Rams will take it. The inbound to Zona. Handoff for Tripp up high. Tripp crossover, looking to work baseline against Council. Great defender here. Tripp bodies him up, flips it off the heel and out. Tripp still with it. To the corner, Medor, his three, bang! Jaffe Medor knocks it down. 65-62 St. Bonaventure. The Rams back within 3, 5:05 to go second half.
I mean, it's a one-possession game with 5 minutes left. Back-to-back threes from Medor. Now we have to watch. It's Zona and Brown again down low, battling inside. That's the key matchup.
Jones has it on the far side. Top of the key, this is Brown. Zona watching him. Brown tip flips to Council on the far wing. 7 to shoot. Council drives, the flip. The lob wouldn't go, but it's a foul called on Ramad Dean. Council tried the alley-oop to Noel Brown. Dean broke it up, but he's called for the foul.
I mean, that play would have had this place absolutely erupt if he completes it. I don't mind the foul from Ramad Dean. He's not on the board at all from a foul perspective yet. Make Noel Brown earn these from the line. Fordham's got the momentum. Don't give Bonaventure a loud play to get it back.
Tray Woodall arguing that it's not a shooting foul. Referees are conversing. It's going to be a shooting foul. The referees decide it will be 2 shots for Noel Brown. Threw up a lob, but it's unclear based on the angle whether or not it should have been a shooting foul or not. 2 shots for Brown. First one's perfect to make it a 4-point Bonaventure lead. Make it 20 points now for Noel Brown. It's been so impressive. Fordham have not been sure how to deal with him. He misses the second free throw, though. Ramad Dean the rebound. Bonaventure by 4, 4:37 to go second half. Medor tries to go all the way. He got fouled by Melvin Council Jr.
Ooh, that's another borderline one. Medor starts to lose the ball as he goes up there. Now, is that because maybe he took a bump on the arm there? But that's what we talked about earlier in this half. Fordham seeing transition opportunities and just taking them. Medor's got such an eye for getting to the line.
2 shots coming for Jaffe Medor as the Reilly Center gets loud.
That's more like it.
First free throw's good. Fordham within 3. It's 66-63.
Nick, you and I both came in here. We were expecting to have a lot of fun because of how electric this environment can get. We're starting to see that fun.
I think down the stretch they're waking up here. It was an early start. 12:30 start. You can understand if they're a little asleep. Jaffe Medor knocks down the second free throw as well. It's a 2-point St. Bonaventure lead. 4:30 to go second half. Hinton crosses the timeline and Johnson gets a foul on the hand check. He was super aggressive in that pressure, but not a foul you need in that spot.
Right, that's where you have to be careful. You want to play tight defense. You want to make life hard on them. You can't give Bonaventure easy fouls. They're 1 foul away now from being in the bonus. That matters. That's really important. That was not a foul that needed to happen.
LeJay Jones on this near side wing. Handoff for Hinton. Circling on the perimeter. Hinton for Council near side wing. They're trying to feed the post for Brown. They do. Zona defending him. Brown. Zona took a bump. No call. Brown slams it home. Bonnies by 4. 4:05 to go second half.
He wants the charging foul. He's just not going to get it. That's tying a career high for Noel Brown.
Johnson straight away for the Rams. The Reilly Center is shaking. On the far wing, it's Jameer Tripp. Johnson has it now. Still on the far side. Under 10 to shoot for the Rams. Johnson against Council. Drives off the glass and in. Big shot from Jackie Johnson to silence the crowd.
I think he's woken up too. Him and Jaffe. And that's been a big help for Fordham.
68-66 St. Bonaventure. 3:30 to go second half. Brown hands off up high for Chance Moore. Council, they're going to try to feed down low again. Matt Zona gets called for the foul. And it's going to be a 1-and-1 opportunity for Noel Brown coming out of this media timeout. 3:25 to go. Don't go anywhere. It's crunch time here from Olean. St. Bonaventure 68, Fordham 66. We'll send it back to our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one scoreboard with Brendan Short.
One-on-one scoreboard.
Starting in the A10, Duquesne is hosting the UMass Minutemen, and that one is knotted up 6-6 early in the game. St. Joe's heads to Chi-Town to take on the Loyola Chicago Ramblers. That one starts in just a minute. GW pickup, LaSalle is calling you, come to Philly. That one's at 2:30. Richmond staying in-state and traveling to VCU later today at 4. The Carolinas are calling George Mason down to take on Davidson at 4 as well. Moving over to top 25, number 8 Tennessee Volunteers finished the job against the number 5 Florida Gators, 64-44. Providence is heating up as they make it close against 15 St. John's, 62-61. St. John's with a few minutes to go. We got a ranked matchup at hand between number 20 Mizzou and number 14 Mississippi State. Mizzou is breaking it open, 52-37, 4 minutes into the second half. The number 23 Ole Miss Rebels try and stage a rebellion at home as they host the number 1 Auburn Tigers. Ole Miss up early, 10-9. It is that day of the year. UNC, Duke, Cooper Flagg, RJ Davis, lots of history. Tip-off at 6:30 with the one-on-one scoreboard. I'm Brendan Shorey.
Thanks, Brendan. We've got a good one here in Olean, New York. St. Bonaventure 68, Fordham 66 with 3:25 to go in the second half. Nick Guzman here alongside Lou Orlando. Lou, it was an 11-point Bonnies lead at the halftime break. Fordham have never led in this game, but it's been mainly their offense and shot making that have got themselves back into this game.
Nick, we said they needed to do something significant to get back in this game and have any chance of a comeback. 59% from the field in the second half, 5 of 8 from deep. Now, Bonaventure has been terrifically efficient as well, 57% from the field. Noel Brown has had, I would argue, the best game of his collegiate career. He's been unstoppable all game long. But Bonaventure hasn't had any success from beyond the arc, and that's allowed for them to get their way firmly back into this game. You trail by 2, 3.5 minutes left. Now, Fordham's been crushed inside by Noel Brown. I really want to see them put Timbila back out here at some point. He's got 4 fouls, yes. So the question is when? Is it under 2? Is it in the final minute? At some point, you need to have an answer for Noel Brown. Matt Zona is back out to start with 3:25 left. Unfortunately, I think for defensive purposes, he's going to need to come out on defensive possessions down the stretch here. You can keep that on offense for that stretch big look, but you need Timbila or one of the guards out there on defense.
1-and-1 for Noel Brown. He misses the front half. Rebound by Dean. Fordham basketball down by 2 with 3:20 to go in the second half. Medore across the timeline for Jackie Johnson straight away. Now Jameer Tripp up top. Out to the far wing for Jaffe Medore. Medore looking to drive. He'll step back for 3. No good. Rebound LeJay Jones. Ahead for Council. He'll circle back and get the Bonaventure offense settled down. Council at the logo. 2:55 to go second half. 2-point Bonnies lead.
Man defense.
They go right back to Noel Brown, who kicks up high to LeJay Jones. In the middle for Chance Moore. Hinton. Jones now near side wing. 8 on the shot clock. Broken up by Johnson back the other way. Johnson lays it up and in, and we're tied. 68-68. Off the steal and finish from Jackie Johnson. 2:30 to go second half.
It's been an inspired effort by the Rams. They've tied this game up for the first time since early in the first half. Wow.
Melvin Council Jr. at the logo, driving on Johnson, inside for Brown. Zona blocked it away, out of bounds on the baseline.
If you're Brown, you gotta get that ball. You gotta get that ball high. He leaves it down low by his shoulders where Zona has an angle to get to it. And that's one strong defensive play for Zona to hit the bench on.
Timbila, Reilly, Rivera into the game. Johnson trips, Zona out. Council to inbound underneath. Timbila, the man watching the ball. Council flips into Brown. Chance Moore has it up high in a tie game. Out to the far wing for Melvin Council. Mismatch down low. It's Brown against Medor. They can't get it to him. And finally, Abdu now back on Brown. The step back three from deep, and he buries it. It's Jonah Hinton from Buffalo. He knocks it down.
Oh my goodness. That is a ice cold shot. Wow.
Bonaventure by 3, 1:50 to go second half. Reilly Center is loud again. Medor at the logo, high screen from Timbila. Medor drives, lost it down low, stolen away by LeJay Jones. Ahead for Council, who will settle things down across the timeline. Timeout called with 1:33 to go in the second half. St. Bonaventure by 3. A huge made 3 by Jonah Hinton, and then a turnover for the Rams the other way.
Jonah Hinton has not been a big part of the story of this game. He's been fairly quiet, but he's been a big part of the story of Bonaventure this season. Desante Bowen injured after the first 10 games, the Iowa transfer. They needed a guard they could plug into the lineup and play consistently, and he's brought excellent shooting to the table. He was only averaging 16 minutes a game off the bench prior to joining the starting lineup. He's now averaging almost 35 minutes a game in his 12 games started, and he's been electric from beyond the arc. That was not an open 3. That was not a gimme 3. That was just ice in my veins, dagger 3. And it got the building on his feet, and I think it affected Fordham. Fordham looked way out of sync on that offensive possession. That's a punch in the gut, man.
The Bonnies have been trying so hard to feed Brown down low. They were 3 of 15 from deep before that. One of the guards eventually distance Jonah Hinton, just thinking, I'll take matters into my own hands, and he drains the step back triple. Bonaventure to inbound their basketball with Melvin Council Jr. up top. Fordham back to a 3-2 zone look. They desperately need to stop here. 1:25 to go, second half rather. Council inside. They found a soft spot in the zone off the glass. Chance Moore gets the roll. 5-point Bonaventure lead. 1:15 to go second half. Jaffe Medor will dribble over to the Fordham bench as Tray Woodall calls a timeout. All of a sudden, the Bonnies back up 5 with 1:13 to go second half. Any way you slice it, Lou, Fordham need a bucket on this possession and need it bad.
Minute 13, you're trailing by 5. The complexion of this game had changed. Fordham had been in a one-possession game really from under 5 down. All of a sudden, that big 3, Chance Moore finds the opening back in the zone, and you're down 5, and you have your work cut out for you because you not only need stops on the defensive end, you have to maintain the offensive intensity you were playing with. Fordham's had a lot of tough shots in this second half. They've had a lot of clutch shots to get back into this game. You need to dial it up to the nth degree here in the final minute 13. This needs to be your most creative play calls. Try and get the ball into the hands of Medor and Jackie Johnson, who have been the trigger men for this comeback.
You just got to find an open shooter. When the game was tied 68-68, the possession ended up with a Jaffe Medor step-back 3, which you'd love for him to take those, but I feel like in this spot, Fordham can get a better look than that.
One timeout left for Fordham, so it changes a lot about how you can coach here in the final 70 seconds.
Medor has it at the logo. Watched closely by Jonah Hinton. Dribble handoff for Jackie Johnson up high. Out to the far wing for Jameer Tripp. Tripp for Zona. Up high again for Tripp. Under a minute to go. 9 on the shot clock. A lot of time coming off the clock here. Johnson drives, blocked away, out of bounds on the baseline. 4 seconds on the shot clock, 52 on the game clock.
And then there's nothing open. Maybe Zona for a split second had a chance to spot up and take a decent look.
Fordham have to go quick. Johnson comes around in the corner with 3 seconds. The fadeaway, no good. Rebound, Chance Moore. 45 to go. Fordham need to foul here, down by 5. Medor trying to foul. Council ahead for Moore. Finally, Zona puts his hands on him, and Chance Moore will go to the free throw line. 38.9 to go in the second half. 73-68 St. Bonaventure, and you feel like this one is just slipping away.
Yeah, but Mark Schmidt upset. That ball gets into the hands of Chance Moore. That's the worst free throw shooter of the starting 5. Should never have gone there.
Still a 1-and-1 chance. Moore misses the front end. Tripp back the other way for Fordham. Up ahead for Dean. Fordham need a shot quickly here. Dean for Medor. Jaffe drives, lost the handle. He got bumped on his way to the rack. Foul on the floor, I believe. Fordham not yet in the bonus, only 5 team fouls.
That's 6.
16 fouls on St. Bonaventure.
It's tough. Medor's driving. He's got 2 guys around him. He had a chance for a kick out there to Zona, but it's tough when you're swarmed like that. And he really did have a good chance at drawing a foul at the line.
Yeah, not a shooting foul here. Fordham are going to try to go offense, defense, but they're going to have to keep their scorers out there. It's Medor, Zona, Tripp, Johnson, Dean. 22 on the shot clock, 30 on the game clock. Fordham need a bucket fast. Tripp into Johnson. Johnson drives, took a bump, and that will put Fordham into the bonus. Jackie Johnson will go to the free throw line.
Fordham getting into the bonus in both halves. Or I should say, getting to the bonus for the first time, but they've done a nice job at drawing fouls against Bonaventure. We gave them so much credit for how frugal they are when it comes to fouling. They just don't do it at all.
Got to have these free throws from Jackie Johnson. It's a one-and-one opportunity. First one is good from Jackie. It's a 4-point game. Can get it down to a one-possession game with a made free throw here. Johnson bends the knees. Second free throw good. Back to a one-score game, 73-70. Shot clock turned off, 28 seconds to go. Fordham are going to have to foul here.
And if you're Bonaventure, this has to go to Melvin Council.
Jones looking to inbound. Trying to get it to Council. They do. Council with a head of steam. Needs to get fouled. He'll go all the way. Blocked by Timpila. Reilly has it. Why did Council do that? Reilly up ahead for Medor. It's a one-possession game. Medor took a bump. And that's going to be a timeout called by Tray Woodall.
It's a smart timeout. To recap that play, Reilly's chasing down Council Jr., I think with the express purpose of fouling, and you hear Tray Woodall go, no. He's going to let Council go all the way to the rim, and yeah, I'm not sure why you do that.
How do you try to dunk on Abdu Timbila in that spot? You got to dribble out the game and get to the free throw line.
Right, at the very least.
It's not like it's an open, fast break dunk. Abdu was down there.
You got to kill time off the clock. The last thing you need to do is just go right for the dagger and get that two, because you give Fordham still time to get back in. They hit a three, then it's a 2-point game. There's no reason that you needed the points there in that situation. That is, for Melvin Council Jr., who's been this team's shining star in A10 play, he's averaging over 40 minutes a game. It shouldn't even make sense, but they had an overtime game. He's only come out of the game across the 9 games they've played for 2.5 minutes. So he's been on the floor. He does everything. He's great defensively. He's a monster offensively. That's a low IQ play by a guy that's probably going to be on the all-conference team when it's all said and done, and deservedly so. And that's given Fordham a chance here. You're down 3, shot clock's off. You can draw something up. And I have to think you want Medor, you want Dean. Those have been the best 3-point shooters in this game, and you won't say no to Jackie Johnson Jr. if he's open.
Or even if you can slip a Matt Zona, look, I'll take anything.
I won't be picky.
73-70 St. Bonaventure, 17.5 to go in the second half. The shot clock is turned off. Jameer Tripp will inbound for the Rams on the far side. We'll see what Tray Woodall draws up here. Into Jaffe Medor. 15 to go at the Bonnies logo. Medor fakes the handoff from Johnson. Medor underneath for Johnson. He's open for 3. Johnson for the tie. No good. Dean to put back with 6.4. It's a 1-point game. Fordham need to foul. Jones gets it in. Fordham need to foul. You got to foul. 4 seconds. Zona.
They got him.
Got him with the hands with 3.7. Again, there's no timeouts for the Rams. 3.7 to go in the second half. It's a 1-point St. Bonaventure lead. LeJay Jones at the free throw line.
No matter what, they'll have a chance to tie here.
That's the look you want from Jackie Johnson. He was open.
Wide open.
He was moving, but Dean with the putback. You wonder maybe if you just grab the rebound and try to, but in that situation, I think instinct
I don't
takes over.
hate it. You take the slam dunk. You had 6 seconds left. You're hoping for an earlier foul.
Yeah.
If you got that foul earlier, even if Jones makes both of these, you have 5 seconds to go the length of the court and set up a good look. Take it back to the UMass game. They found success off a baseline inbound. The other key here is LeJay Jones has to make both of these. He's a good free throw shooter. It's a big situation.
1-1 still for St. Bonaventure. 3.7 to go in the second half. Huge free throws from LeJay Jones. 1-point Bonnies lead. Jones bends the knees and knocks down the first free throw. Again, no timeouts for Fordham. If this is a miss, they have to go fast. to make it a 3-point game. Jones. In and out, 3.7 to go. Medor up ahead with 2. Medor from half court for the win. No good. St. Bonaventure survives at home. What an effort for the Rams, down 11 at the half. Come all the way back to tie at 68, ultimately fall short 74 to 72. Fordham falls to 2-7 on the year in the Atlantic 10. Bonaventure improves to 5-5. And Lou, considering I think where you were at the half, there's no such thing as moral victories. Obviously, you want to win, but it was a really, really positive effort from the Rams. It just stings because you got it back to 68 and just couldn't quite close things out.
It's less about losing to Bonaventure by 2. It's less about that being a good thing and more about the second half effort was phenomenal. The way Fordham played down the stretch against, I still think, one of the best teams in the A-10 in St. Bonaventure. I think that's a team that can make a run to the weekend of the A-10 championship. You know, that second half effort, pulling off a near comeback against them, that's a terrific job out of these Rams. And so for Tray Woodall to cap off this 4-game stretch with that tight of a game, there's a lot to be proud of. There's a lot to take in to future games here. We'll get you set up with our coach in just a second.
Yeah,
Sorry, Coach.
Fordham interim head coach. We're joined here by Fordham interim head coach Tray Woodall. Final score, Bonaventure 74, Fordham 72. Coach, obviously the loss stings, but what do you make of the second half effort to come back from down 11?
It's just show resilience. Our guys, they fight as hard as they possibly can. First half, we thought we weren't as physical as we wanted to be. Second half, I think we turned up our defensive intensity. I think guys, we gave 34 points in the second half. I think our guys turned up our defensive intensity. I think we just got to limit our fouls, man. I don't know how many free throws they shot. Anybody got a box score?
Yeah, they shot 12 free throws. Or, sorry,
total.
They shot
total for the game?
19. 12 for 19. They shot 19
free throws in the second half. This is a little too much. We just got to do a better job of defending without fouling. But I was impressed with our resilience in the second half. They never died, never out of the fight attitude. So we just got to get better.
You had seen Bonaventure once before, and obviously Melvin Council Jr. and those guards are so talented. Was it a focus in this game, shutting down those guards?
Yeah, we was trying to build walls in transition so they can't get out and get easy breaks. So in the second half, we converted back to a zone to try to be able to slow them up a little bit, which gave us a good look to slow them down. But in the end, it just wasn't enough. I think we got a couple looks late, to be able to tie the ball game, which I was happy with our execution. All you could ask for is to get an opportunity to get an open shot, and we did that. But we just got to go back to the drawing boards, take a day off, and then get back to watching some film and then try to improve from there.
All right, thanks, Coach. We appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
That's Fordham interim head coach Tray Woodall. Final score, St. Bonaventure 74, Fordham 72. The Rams got that look they wanted with Jackie Johnson on the move for the tie. Couldn't quite get it to go. Then Dean with the putback, just not enough time for the Rams. You feel like if maybe they got that foul with 5 seconds or so, and it didn't have to be a half-court heave from Jaffe Medor, it could have been a different outcome.
Yeah, it's that final sequence, and listen, it's painful because, if you foul a little bit earlier, that doesn't it doesn't have to be a half-court heave. You get more of a good look. You also got to remember, they're in that situation because of a low IQ play by Melvin Council Jr. They probably shouldn't have even been in that situation, but it doesn't matter. You had a phenomenal comeback in that second half. You shoot 53% from the field, 50% from deep, and you pull off a pretty big swing against an excellent St. Bonaventure team. So I think the statement here is what Tray Woodall said. We're a different team than we were on January 4th. After this game, I think that's 100% the truth. This is now a Fordham team that should be able to compete with a lot of the top dogs in the A-10, and it's an A-10 where the top dogs change seemingly every week. And there's still only 4 teams above 500 in A-10 play right now in the A-10. You're going to have a Dayton game coming up at home. You've got Rhode Island most recently. If Fordham is playing at this level, there are wins here in this schedule, and I think the emphasis now is just build that confidence up until the A-10 championship. Get as high a seed as you can. If you can escape being in day 1 on Wednesday and be a day 2 team, I think maybe you'll see something funky out of the Fordham Rams when it comes to the championship time.
This was, we mentioned earlier, the Reilly Center was not that loud throughout the beginning of the game, and I think it's just because Fordham were between that 8 to 12 point threshold. Bonaventure had a comfortable lead, and then as soon as Fordham got back in the game, you realize why this is considered one of the best atmospheres in college basketball. They got loud, and they impacted the game down the stretch. Final score here from Olean, New York at the Reilly Center. St. Bonaventure 74, Fordham 72. The Rams fall to 10-12 on the year and 2-7 in the A-10. Next up, they'll face Rhode Island on Wednesday at the Rose Hill Gym, and then Dayton a week after that, the following Wednesday, also at the Rose Hill Gym. A nice 2-game homestand coming up for the Rams after this road trip. The Bonnies improved to 17-6 and 5-5 in the Atlantic 10. They'll play Loyola Chicago on the road on Tuesday. That will do it from myself and Lou here from the Reilly Center. Fordham might have fallen short, Lou, but I had a blast calling this game with you.
100%, man. This place is rocking.
This place is rocking. It was awesome.
Shaking. That's really cool.
Final score, Bonnie 74, Fordham 72, and we'll send it back to our Rose Hill studios for the one-on-one postgame with Evan Harkin and Brendan Shorey.
The one-on-one postgame report.
Welcome back to the Rose Hill Studios. I'm Evan Harkin alongside Brendan Shorey, and this one came down to the wire. A game that looked like a blowout the last time you heard our voices at halftime, but St. Bonaventure pulls this one out over the Rams at the end by a final score of 74-72. Brendan, the Rams looked like a completely different team in the second half, especially those last 10 minutes. Tray Woodall just mentioned to Lou Orlando and Nick Guzman that his teams look much more physical in that second half.
Yeah, and you can really see that in two aspects of the game. You have the rebounding. We out-rebounded St. Bonaventure in the second half. Fordham lost the rebound battle in the first half. That's a big difference. The second thing is that Fordham was able to initiate contact and get fouls at the line. They were 1 of 2 from the free throw line in the first half. They were not going to the line. They were not drawing those fouls. They were 8 of 10 in the second half. So they were driving. They were initiating contact. They were getting those calls and trying to finish through contact, and that's a big part of that physicality.
Finally playing more of a complete offense. That's what we were alluding to at halftime as well, that they really had to start running more plays, getting into the paint more, just doing those little things that eventually turn out into points better than chucking up 3 balls. But when we look back at that 3-ball count, to go along with what you said, what they were doing in the paint, they were doing it outside as well in that second half. We checked on their 3-point percentage, and they were 4 for 14 at halftime, ended the game 9 for 24 from 3. So we're able to come back into the game with the assist of that 3-ball, really getting it done everywhere offensively in that second half. Looked like a good offensive team.
Yeah, and I think a big part of that 3-ball was the ability to score inside. And when you are able to start scoring inside pretty much at will, I mean, they shot 53% from the field in the second half.
Yeah.
So when you are able to go inside and score, then it opens up the 3-ball for everyone else who's not driving. They are going to collapse on you when you drive. You kick it. And we saw that. We saw an open look for Jackie Johnson towards the end for a 3. He missed it, but that's the type of look you're going to get whenever you are wreaking havoc down by the hoop.
And that's exactly the shot they were hoping to get right there. It just doesn't fall right there. They're able to get a second chance point, the Rams, and put it back up, eventually losing that game. But Noel Brown, they finally got a little bit better to him in the second half. He still finished this game with 22 points and 8 rebounds, but he had a much less productive second half than he did first half. Probably Fordham changing that defense up. Like we said, they have to keep sending the Bonnies different looks. When they're outmatched talent-wise, athletic-wise, physically, you know, you really have to play with the other team mentally at that point. And they were switching from man back to that zone, trying to give different looks to the defense. Defensively, the Rams were to the Bonnies' offense. Seemed like it worked, at least with Noel Brown. It seemed like they couldn't do anything with him physically in the first half. Second half, able to corral him a little bit.
Yeah, and it's all about adjustments. And that's what we saw Fordham do is adjust to the zone in the first half, and then come into half and make some adjustments at halftime and come out and come in a zone and man too, like making all these changes, confusing the Bonnies, make them see different looks. Those are the adjustments that are going to win you games. You don't let them get comfortable in a certain look that they see. Make them have to switch up their style of offense, how they are attacking, based off what kind of defense you're throwing at them.
And the guys that the Rams expect to score the ball, we're doing it in that second half. Jackie Johnson and Jaffe Medor. Typically over these last 2 games, the 2 games that the Rams won their previous 2, it had been other guys stepping up. It had been Ramad Deem. This game, Josh Rivera with a great game as well. Another guy that really isn't a typical scorer going up there and putting up double-digit points. But we said at halftime, it's time to stop looking at those other guys to really score and balance out the scoring. And this is a point in the game where you really have to point at your two scorers, Jackie Johnson and Jaffe Medor, and say, you guys have to put on the cape and go get us some tough buckets. They really did that in the second half, 20 and 18 from those two.
Yeah, and that's a big part of why this Fordham team was able to stage an almost comeback. Was because you had these guys who, Jaffe Medor shot the ball relatively well in the first half, but Jackie Johnson was not. He was 3 of 10 from the field, and he comes out and finishes 8 of 19 and shoots the ball well in the second half, which is exactly what we talked about at halftime that Fordham needed to happen. They needed to have those big guys come out and make big plays and go score. And, I mean, it ended up a 2-point game, and it was an 11-point game at halftime.
Yeah, it was a completely different game in the second half, and we're talking about how much better the Rams were physically in that second half, which they were. But when you look at this game overall, you look at it from top to finish, first and second, you look at the points in the paint. St. Bonaventure had 50 points in the paint. Fordham had 32. That's just straight out-physicaled, outsized, outmatched. And yes, they figured out a way to limit that in the second half, but moving forward, the Rams have to figure out a formula to not allow teams with good, bigger centers to just bully them the whole game.
And it really is. You have to play a whole game.
Yes.
That's where we are. That's where you are as a college basketball team. And even as you go further, professional basketball, wherever you end up going, you have to play a full game if you want to win. And we saw Fordham come out, and they played a fantastic second half and brought it back to a very close game against a good St. Bonaventure's team. But the first half, they did not look like they were at the same game for the first few minutes. St. Bonaventure started the game up 7-0 and just dominated the first half. And you can't come in and expect to win games if you're going to let teams run over you in the first few minutes, or what we've seen a lot of times this season, run over you in the first few minutes of the second half. You have to be able to come out and put your full effort in for the full 40 minutes.
Absolutely right. Have to play the entire game. Looking at little stats as well, bench points, something Fordham did do well in. Fordham with 24 points off of their bench, St. Bonaventure only with 13. But I love your point about the bigger picture, the whole game, because it seems like a lot of these Fordham games, you look at the stats, you look post-game, and you say, okay, there was a 5-minute, 10-minute window where this Fordham team looked better than the other team. But that's not really what matters. What matters is your record, whether you win or lose games. And Fordham has to start out the way they've been finishing games. If they want to win those games, they have to start the way that they finish off playing.
Yeah, because you look at a second half like this, you're like, that's a good basketball team. They can go win games, but they don't replicate it throughout the whole game.
Right.
That's the big issue, is when you're able to put out a performance like that in the second half, people expect you to be able to do that for a whole game. And that's not what we've seen so far with this Fordham team this season. And it's something we've seen in the past few seasons as well, as there will be times, there will be minutes of the game where they don't look like a good team at all. And those minutes are what win and lose you games. If you keep that consistency, you keep that effort for all 40 minutes, that's how you go win games. But if you have 5 minutes in the first half, 5 minutes in the second half, where you look like a bad team, those 5 minutes will come back to bite you in the end.
Absolutely. And interim head coach Tray Woodall, being the head coach right now that Keith Ergo is suspended for the time being, I think he deserves a little bit of applause for what he's done recently. I mean, winning the last 2 games as the Rams interim head coach, coming into this game, getting beat up and bruised in the first half, but then making the adjustments at halftime the way you want a good head coach or interim head coach to do, and sending out a complete different team in the second half. You at least have to look at the coaching staff and say, someone's doing a good job at that point.
And you look at how this Fordham team came into these 4 games where Ergo was suspended, and they were winless in conference play.
Right.
And then Woodall comes in and wins 2 big conference games, and then puts up a great fight against a good St. Bonaventure's team with a good defense, who Fordham got blown out by earlier this year. They lost by 20 earlier this year under Ergo, and Woodall is able to come in and make those adjustments, and Fordham ends up losing by 2 on a game that was exciting. It was close at the end. And so him being able to come in and win those 2 games and put up a close game in his last game really does say a lot about this coaching staff.
Right, and when you can move down the roster at positions, even at head coach, if you want to count that as a position, and you keep the same level of intensity, the same standard, that's when you know signs of a good culture and a good program. When you can move down, guys get suspended, guys get hurt, even the head coach, but you can go to the interim head coach, and he keeps that same level of intensity as your real head coach. That's when you know you got at least a good program brewing, something good is starting up. But that's going to do it from us here at the Rose Hill Studios. I've been Evan Harkin alongside Brendan Shorey. Will Talent was on the sticks handling the production throughout this broadcast. Nick Guzman had you covered on the play-by-play. Lou Orlando was the analyst. Bobby Chaffardini is the sports director of the sports department. So long from WFUV Sports.